Jake Asman Show will begin shortly. Thanks to all these great Patreon members who help support the show. Get your super chats ready. Jake will be here in just a moment. If you love the New York Jets, this is the place to be. And now, the Jake Asman Show.
Aaron Glenn may have dropped the biggest hint yet on what type of team the New York Jets are trying to be in 2025. We'll talk about that and much more from Jets Mini Camp. Richie from Jets Media is going to join us. It's the Jake Asman Show. Let's hit it and get it started. Man, our Jets are primed to win another offseason, baby. We bleed Jets green each and every day. Will the playoff drought finally end? Kings of the offseason, baby. This is what we do. At least we have Garrett Wilson. We have Breece Hall. Please subscribe and hit the like button below. Super chat, baby. Cut the line. We have Sauce Gardner. We have Quinn Williams. Prepare to be underdogs. Now it's time to talk all things New York Jets. It's the Jake Asman Show. Here we go, here on a Wednesday. Welcome in, everybody. Before we bring on Richie, I just want to make sure I remind the audience that you have till this Friday, that's 2 days from right now, to lock in your spot for our group buy, the ASMANIACS, coming together on October 19th for the Jets and the Panthers. Discounted tickets. You save about $60 on face value to sit with us in the lower bowl. That's section 129. We're going to go on the field after the game. We're going to have a pregame tailgate with Tailgate Joe at a discounted group rate. We'll share the info for that once we get everyone locked in for the game. But if you want to join us, click the link in the description or the pinned comment down below if you're not watching live, and you could lock in your spot. First 75 people can join us on the field after the game. There's about 20 spots left for field pass access. So lock in your spot today if you want to join us. Let's say hello right now to one of the great Jet creators out there, a good friend of the show. Richie from Jets Media joins us right now. Richie, happy Wednesday. Mini camp is underway, and Aaron Glenn continues his war at the press conference with Rich Cimini.
The war. Oh, I love that part of it. Thank you for having me on, Jake. Always an honor to come on the great Jake Asman Show. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Shout out to the ASMANIACS. All right. So please do me a favor. Support Jake by simply hitting the thumbs up button. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And let's talk some Jets, man. Appreciate you having me on.
Absolutely. So we'll get into everything that we have seen or have heard from reporters who have been there on the field. But I do want to play the Cimini Glenn cut. And look, I'm kidding when I say war. Obviously, Rich and Aaron Glenn go back a long time. But it seems like we get one of these type of exchanges every Glenn press conference. This was the latest yesterday.
Is everyone here on the roster?
You tell me.
I mean, it looked like everyone's here.
There you go.
Your thoughts on that, Richie?
He's just not messing around, man. And it's very mild, right? It's not a huge deal. And that's not going to win us football games. But I said this on my show right this morning, Jake. This is the exact type of head coach I think this Jets team
Knicks
needs.
do need a head coach, by the way.
The Knicks do need a head coach. I'm in the middle of like Knicks head coaching search, right?
You know who they should hire? This guy named Tom Thibodeau. That's pretty good. You know, got them to the Eastern Conference Finals for the first time in 25 years. But, you know, I digress.
But I do think that Aaron Glenn holding himself and having that not messing around attitude, and he's going to make Rich Cimini and Connor Hughes and Zach Rosenblatt, all the great Jets beat reporters, he's going to make their jobs a little bit harder, right? Like really hard to get a good quote out of them. He's going to challenge him, and I love that. And he's just not messing around. He brings that grit. He brings that edge to him that I think this Jets team desperately needs if we want to start winning football games.
I agree with you. And I just think they need someone that has a clear vision, that's not trying to be friends with everyone in the media, that's unafraid to, at times, criticize the team or hold people accountable. It just felt like Robert Saleh, while clearly an excellent defensive-minded coach, he was not a great head coach because I think at times he tried to be everyone's friend, whether it be people in the media or even players on the team. I can't think of any scenario under Saleh where it felt like a player was truly held accountable for their actions or they were truly disciplined. And I think that's a real thing with Glenn, that the country club environment, it's over. And you see it with his interactions with the press, but everything we've heard about Aaron Glenn, at least so far here in the offseason, has been true.
Absolutely, man. And not only just him on the press conferences, but hearing from the players, like what Justin Fields said to me stood out to me, Jake, a few weeks ago, where he said that Aaron Glenn is the realest coach he's ever played with. And his example was Aaron Glenn called out the entire team after practice saying that's not how we operate. That the energy was not up to our standard, calling everybody out. And that's something Robert Saleh never did. He's clapping, yay, we finished another practice. Obviously, I'm exaggerating, but that's kind of what it felt like. That was the energy he was giving off, where Aaron Glenn is real. Same thing with Quincy Williams. That meeting that Quincy Williams and Aaron Glenn had, where it was over an hour, and Aaron Glenn told Quincy, look, you're a heck of a football player, but there's still parts of your game I want you to work on to improve your football ability to be a really good leader on this football team. And that's awesome, man. He's not just being like, yeah, Quincy, you're great. And I also don't want to, make it seem like Robert Saleh and his staff did not do a good job of developing individual talent on defense. That's the only thing they good here. But I do feel like the realism and not being a super nice guy is going to get the most out of these football players. It's also going to gain trust with this team, and you can see that right on display.
We have a couple days left until we do one of the biggest raffles we've ever done in the history of the show, a full-size Broadway Joe helmet, giving this away to a lucky ASMANIAC on Friday. Gift the membership to be eligible, plus a signed Walt Clyde Frazier jersey, signed Kevin Mawai Hall of Fame inscription jersey, and a signed Bart Scott jersey. First person to gift a membership, it counts for double to kick things off here on a Wednesday show. So if you gift 5, you're in for 10. So gift away for your chance to win. The other cut I want to play, and I got 2 more for you. I think this is a very revealing comment here about the state of the Jets and the mentality they're going to play with on offense. This was Aaron Glenn being asked about Breece Hall and the running back room. And I think the answer here gives us a clear idea on what the thought process and the mentality on offense is going to be.
The first thing, they're big physical men. And listen, even though this is not a physical camp, you just see the way they run. All of them have low pad level. Breece and Braylon, man, they can really, really run. I'm not just talking about just as a runner, but as far as speed down the field. You see that with them. And I'm excited about all 3 of those guys. I really am. I don't know if there's 3 backs in this league that has the potential like these 3. And maybe it is, but I know I'm just focusing on what we have, and I'm excited about the guys that we have here.
That's strong praise, saying that they're arguably one of the best running back rooms, if not the best in the NFL right there, based on those comments.
Listen, Jake, that's a position that I think Jets fans has a real reason to be excited about. I genuinely believe that the trio of Breece, Allen, and Davis, the one thing they all have in common that I love is they're all super young, still on rookie contracts. Breece Hall's entering his contract year. You know what that means? He understands he needs to have a career season if he wants to get paid by the Jets or another team on the open market. So that's going to motivate Breece Hall. He's going to want to get paid. Braylon Allen showed flashes last year that he's an absolute monster. He's training with Derrick Henry in the offseason. And then Isaiah Davis is that guy that you can rely on out of the backfield, screen passes, pick up the first down on these weird little plays that he showed last year late in the season. He sparked. So the mixture of that with Justin Fields being a running back at the quarterback position and the revamped offensive line and new coaching staff, I absolutely love. And I think the high praise is warranted by this room. It's really young and there's a lot of upside.
Last year, the Jets were they were like the worst team at running the football in the league. They also, if you just look at the numbers, they ran the ball the fewest amount of times out of any team in the league. Some of that was, I think, the coaching being poor, the scheme being poor. When they tried to run the ball, they couldn't do it. I think some of it was certainly Rodgers checking out of a lot of runs and throwing the ball a whole lot more. But this team is built to run the football. And if they truly believe that they have the most talented running back room, there's a reason why they didn't trade Breece Hall when those rumors were out there. And they're all in and committed to running the hell out of the ball. And that's the best way to try and win games when you have Fields as your quarterback.
Yeah, and right when you said that stat, a big reason I think last year in particular why that stat's so low is that how many times did we watch games last season, Jake, where the offense was not on the field because we were losing the clock, we were losing in the trenches, and the other team's offense was on the field majority of the game, running the ball, milking the clock out, and then when we get on the field, it's a 3-and-out or maybe just a first down. They'd never had extended drives. I would love to see a stat in terms of like how many offensive snaps total did the Jets have? Did they were like last in the league in that stat? Because it felt like they never even had a chance to get into rhythm because every time they got out there offensively, they would run the ball, fail, and then incompletion, punt. They never got string together a lot of drives. So it was just a mess last year, bro.
Least amount of rushing attempts, 363. I don't have the full list in front of me, but I think they were a good 20-something behind whoever the 31st place team was in that stat. So they weren't even close. Like this team with Fields, whether you think he's a good enough thrower or not, the one thing we know he could do at an elite level, if not maybe the best in the NFL besides maybe Lamar Jackson, he could run with the ball in his hands as well as anyone out there. He's had 1,100 yards rushing in a season. Sure, the passing needs to continue to get better if the Jets are going to allow him to play quarterback, like Aaron Glenn has said on the record multiple times. But you could build an offense around Fields' ability to run. We know what Brees could do in the right environment. I think Braylon and Isaiah both flashed at times last year. Like, I'm bullish about this team having a real ground and pound type of offense. There's a reason why you drafted Armand Member 7th overall. You're expecting him to come in right away and be a big-time player for you with Olu anchoring the left side. AVT is another year removed from the Achilles injury. Tippmann should be at his best now going into what is his 3rd year in the league. Simpson was arguably the most underrated player on the team last year. Like, this offensive line, if it's not one of the best in the NFL, they fail because they've invested too much in it for it to not be good at this point.
Yeah, and I think the new coaching staff is a big part of it. New offensive line coaching staff, new philosophy on that side of the ball. And I really genuinely believe that this roster is still talented enough where if you get the proper coaches, this team will win more football games than some people believe. And a lot of it's on Justin Fields' shoulders. But Justin Fields' ability to run the football changes everything. It connects to the 3 running backs. It connects to the offensive line. It poses a threat on these defenses. They're going to have to worry about Justin Fields a little bit more. RPOs, read options. Like, it's going to be a wide open net of the opportunities that Tanner Engstrand has to get creative with this Jets offense, with the personnel he has. And I also want to get your thoughts, Jake, just in terms of the offense. Like, what's your status of the number 2 receiver talk? Because in my opinion, I feel like it's a little bit harped on too much, where we're so upset that there's not a number 2, where I'm like, well, how about we appreciate with Garrett freaking Wilson, who I think is good enough to be able to carry this wide receiver room where we don't need another elite guy next to Garrett Wilson. And I think the 6 guys competing is going to be good enough. I don't know about you, but I'm not saying we shouldn't be looking out there for another receiver, but I feel like this receiver room is pretty good.
So I agree with you on Garrett. What concerns me is, what if there's an injury to Garrett Wilson, right? I know you can't bank on that.
Yeah,
like, I could say that about, what if there's an injury to, Jamar Chase, right? You could say that for any team, but I'm just very concerned when we're talking about, we're letting Fields play quarterback, and Aaron Glenn, without saying it directly, basically has said Fields hasn't been properly coached in his career. I mean, that means you think the coaching that he's had has been bad. So I just feel like if you're saying all this and then, okay, God forbid Garrett Wilson, rolls an ankle and has to miss a couple games, and this offense all of a sudden has Josh Reynolds against number 1 corners and no one can get open, and they're going to be forced to, throw the ball in critical spots. I just feel like that's where it's concerning, and they're counting a lot on Mason Taylor being an impact player right away as a rookie, which he might be, but I think it's unfair to expect him to be Sam Laporta as a rookie, right? So I agree with you if you guarantee me health. I'm just a little concerned that they might be 1 pass catcher short right now.
Yeah, 100%. And I feel like the depth, like, there's so many guys competing, right? We got Josh Reynolds, Alan Lazard, the 2 veterans. We got the rookie Arian Smith. You got year 2 Malachi Corley. You got year 3 of Xavier Gibson. There's a lot of guys, but the question is, are they going to be good enough? Who makes the team? Who doesn't make the team? The injury is always going to be a concern. And hypothetically, if they're all healthy, I think they'll get the job done. But is there a receiver that you want the Jets to bring in or anything like that you're looking for via trade or like a free agent? Because I also feel like the unique thing about Aaron Glenn's philosophy is he's going to give young guys opportunities rather than go after like an Amari Cooper who's old and it's going to be here for 1 year and doesn't really fit the timeline. You know what I mean? So is there a guy out there that you want the Jets to bring in at wide receiver?
Well, for me, he's not as, I guess, well-known as maybe Amari Cooper, but he still had a decent season, all things considered, last year. And he's a slot guy that I think would be a perfect complement to Garrett Wilson, and that's Keenan Allen. I mean, I know he's been discussed by some Jet fans, but it feels like Amari Cooper's been the only name that was actually linked to the Jets in an ESPN article. That's who I would add. It seems like they don't want to add anyone who's 30 or above unless your name's Josh Reynolds. So I'm not counting on it, but if you told me they'd sign Keenan Allen and just added another proven pass catcher to that room, I'm fine with it because I'm still not totally convinced Alan Lazard is going to be on this team. I know there's some stuff out there about, well, maybe he wants to just stay with the Jets after all. But with Rodgers going to Pittsburgh, and Pittsburgh, you had that report the other day that they're looking for a veteran receiver. I could totally see the Jets still doing something with Lazard where they send him back to, Rodgers, and Rodgers gets his guy.
Yeah, I mean, you never know. I think Aaron Rodgers getting somebody. And the one thing we know about Aaron is you need to get everybody to look at the field his way in order for it to operate. And the Jets tried and failed that for a lot of different reasons. It was sloppy and a mess. So I could see the Steelers be aggressive for Lazard. One thing about Lazard I find interesting is he restructured his contract and took a slight pay cut to remain a Jet. Like, they came up to him and said, it's either we cut you or you take a pay cut to stay. And he took a pay cut to stay. So that right there is also something that I'm not going to forget, that maybe he is loyal to the Jets. Maybe the Jets are loyal to him. And another thing about Lazard, that the one thing he's actually good at is run blocking at the receiver room. And Aaron Glenn is saying, if you don't block, you don't get the rock. And maybe he's relying on the veteran presence of Lazard to teach these guys how to block in the receiver room. And I don't trust him from catching passes and when it comes to running routes, and especially with the boneheaded penalties. But I do feel like there is some sense that Lazard could be remaining the Jet.
Your thoughts now that it is official, and we knew this was coming for a while, but Rodgers now is a Steeler. We saw the photos of him yesterday, the videos of him in the black and gold. Jet Steelers, week 1. You can plug your event as well, Richie. But this is going to be a massive opener for the Jets and their fans against Pittsburgh.
Yeah, well, like you said, Jake, I do an event every year. This is my 4th season doing it, and I picked this game, Jets Steelers, for the event with the hopes that this would happen, that Aaron Rodgers would sign with the Steelers. I'm really excited, man. I mean, you talk about must-see TV. I'm shocked this is not on primetime, just from the standpoint of Aaron Rodgers' first
It would have
game.
been if he actually committed.
Yeah, I feel like
Steelers.
it would have been. I felt like the NFL should have asked, and I don't know, but whatever. It's a 1:00 game, which I still love. And this is going to be an epic opportunity. If you guys want to come to the Jets home opener, I'm hosting my 4th annual Jets Media Day 2025. Your ticket comes with a lot of fun things, all included tailgate party. We're getting onto the field after the game. I'm going to be live at the tailgate, and we're sitting in sections 228A, which is a prime mezzanine section. And the prices are going up ever since Rodgers signed with the Steelers, but my price is not going up. They're staying right where they are. If you guys want to reach out to me, you can email me, DM me for more information. I'm really excited about it, man, because Justin Fields going up against his former team, Jake, on top of Aaron Rodgers going back to MetLife Stadium. I mean, it's going to be must-see TV, and I cannot wait to see it, man. And I'm excited to see this Jets defense go up against Aaron Rodgers.
Hit the like button if you're just tuning in. We're talking with Richie from Jets Media. I got another clip from Aaron Glenn's presser that I want to play and get Richie's thoughts on. But first, we said it before, if you gifted a membership, it was double for the first person to do it. So Rick Kent, he gifted 10. Guess what, Rick? That means you have 20 raffle tickets in our full-size Broadway Joe Namath raffle on Friday.
We're the freaking New York Jets, so we're built for this shit.
Here are the 10 memberships from Rick Uoguchi Lilagawa. I definitely mispronounced that, but I apologize. Charles Nicholas, Christopher Wheeler, Tony DiFilippo, War Dog, Charles is chilling, Chris NJ75, Jet Forever, James Caffiero, Joel Mercado, all receiving memberships there from Rick. But wait, there's more. Coach James, who's got a new book out on leadership. That's right, one of our own, AsManiacs, is a published author, Coach James Rodriguez. I'll have the link for people to support James in just a little bit. But he has gifted 10 channel memberships. James, thank you very much. We got you down for 10 in the raffle.
J-E-T-S, Jets. I love Fireman Ed, too.
King, I love him too, Mr. Gruden. King Saria, The Meadowlands Swamp Thing, Smitty P.A., Kerrigan, Colin Richards, Norm Go Jet Yourself, Rourke Strip, Johnny Greenballs, Jason Picker, Des Jets, all receiving channel memberships there from the great Coach James. Coach James also became a super Asmaniac during the show, so that's another raffle entry for Coach James. Thank you very much. Once again, guys, gift away if you want a chance to win any of the items you heard me talk about in our raffle. Ricky NY in the house. He's gifted a membership. Boom. Ricky, got you down. Your channel membership was gifted, and it went to listener Kevin James. Shout out to the King of Queens, who's a loyal listener of the program. All right. One final cut here from Aaron Glenn. I found this one to be particularly interesting as well. Here's Glenn being asked for his assessment on the Jets defense so far.
They are fast. They are really fast. I would say this. and we don't have to coach this, and this is a really good thing, but we continue to stress it, is being able to pursue. We have men on that defense that understands that, and when you watch practice, you see it, and it is freaking just woof, the guys are going. So now you have to tie that into being a really good tackling team. You have to tie that in and to make sure you have takeaways. So once you have pursuit, tackle, and takeaways, that's the essence of playing defensive football. And the thing is, we got to make sure those other two traits that we're trying to build, that we do a good job of those.
I think the defense has a chance to bounce back in a major way. I believe in the coaching on that side of the ball, not just Glenn, but I think Steve Wilks was the best type of hire Glenn could have made to be his defensive coordinator. To me, you look at the talent, you heard Glenn talk about it. They paid Sherwood. I thought that was the right move. That tells me they evaluated and saw what we all saw last year. I think Quincy is going to bounce back. I think Quinnen is going to bounce back. I love McDonald adding weight. Jermaine, he might not be Jermaine Johnson of 2023 immediately, but I believe that's still in there by the end of the season. I just feel good about this defense. I think the defense, maybe they allow more yards, Richie, but I don't care about that. Force more turnovers, change the game, and I think an Aaron Glenn, Steve Wilks defense is going to blitz more, be more aggressive. I'm very excited about the defense. I think they're properly coached.
Absolutely. And you talk about all the players you listed, you should be really excited about this scheme that they're implementing, the mindset that they're going to implement here. And I feel like they're going to be more of an opportunistic defense where they're going to give up yards, but they're going to try to take the ball away. Like you said, they're going to try to make more splash plays. And my guy that I think is going to break out this season, and you can argue he already broke out last season, but Will McDonald, I think, has a level to his game where I'm maybe getting ahead of myself, but connecting what he did last year by taking his opportunity and running away with it. Hassan Reddick not showing up early in the season and him sucking helped him out. Jermaine Johnson tearing his Achilles in week 2. That gave Will McDonald a legit sample size of what he can be as a full-time pass rusher. And he, 10.5 sacks, was fantastic. Now you add 15 pounds of muscle. Now you have even more experience in the NFL. Now you have a new level of confidence. He changed his number to 9. I know numbers don't really change your play style, but hey, some guys feel different when they put on a single digit. I feel like Will McDonald can get 13 to 15 sacks, and I don't think that's out of the realm, and that's a big piece I'm excited for. But the part of this defense, Jake, I'm really excited to see under Aaron Glenn's tutelage is definitely the secondary. Being a former corner, he is. What does Sauce Gardner look like? Is there any changes to his game? Any little tweaks we're noticing to Sauce? You know, what is Brandon Stevens looking like? Is A.Z. Thomas going to steal his job at CB2? Michael Carter, the second in the slot, who had a down year last year with a lot of injuries. The safety room with Andre Cisco, Tony Adams, is he going to get, his spot taken by the rookie, Malachi Moore? There's a lot of intriguing storylines to watch heading into training camp on defense.
The goal should be, at least early on this season, with some of the quarterbacks they play, especially week 1, really challenge some of these guys. Like Rodgers, new team, new weapons, send the house at him, man. Like there should be an aggressive game plan week 1. And I do like what Wilks was saying last week, and he'll speak again today, so we'll get more from him, which I'm excited about. The idea of week to week, you change the game plan based on the opponent. It felt like while the Jets defense was obviously one of the better ones in the league under Robert Saleh the last couple of years, at times it felt like there was too much stubbornness to, hey, this is the way we do it, and that's it. And from what I have heard, they have used Sauce in more of a revolving traveler role so far in some of these practices, and they have been way more aggressive defensively. And I think that should be the game plan week 1. Put Sauce on Metcalf the entire game, say this is your assignment, and let the Jets pass rush get home. Let Quincy and Sherwood, 2 of the faster players in the league, not just linebackers, get home. Like, let's really challenge Aaron Rodgers week 1 against a ferocious defense.
Absolutely love it, man. And I think the one thing about Steve Wilks I took away from Jake is that they're building the scheme around the personnel. It's not like going to be the same scheme he's had throughout his entire career, same team scheme that Glenn had. They're creating a new one that is tailored to this roster, to their strengths. That is really important that we need to note here. And I love that Steve Wilks tested, was it Rich Meany or somebody in his presser? Like, oh, you're just assuming we're going to do more man and blitz. Like, how do you know that? Right? Like, what makes you think that? And I think that's his whole mindset is we're creating a new system here. And the same thing goes on offense. They're creating a new system. And that's why I'm excited, Jake, for this Jets season. I'm not excited because I'm expecting them to win like 10 plus games and make the playoffs or anything like that. It's more about there's a freshness, there's a breath of fresh air, there's a new identity getting formed. I'm just excited to see what it looks like.
I agree with you. And I think if the defense bounces back, and the offensive coaching is a lot better and the O-line is what it is, you're not going to be one of the worst teams in the league. I can't sit here and say this is a 9 or 10 win team, but there are people out there who project the Jets to have the first pick in the draft. It's not going to be that bad. You can't have a team with the type of talent they have on defense and the O-line they have, and still the weapons they do have on offense. Garrett Wilson, obviously the most notable. You shouldn't be one of the worst teams in the league. They might not be great. I think a lot of it comes down to Fields taking that step, but they're not going to be one of the worst teams in the league. I just don't see it.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. I mean, that's just haters. I think that this roster is too good, too talented enough for that to be the case. And we could talk about all these players, but it really just comes down to Justin Fields too. Because if things start to click for him mentally and he does not hold the ball for too long, doesn't take sacks, can be turnover free, push the ball down the field, be safe. I mean, that's what it's about, Jake. And if he could break out, like, I'm not going to sit here and be like, yeah, Justin Fields is going to be like Sam Darnold for the Vikings last year, break out and be an absolute dog. That's possible, but that's not where my expectations are. I'm a little scarred still from the Aaron Rodgers regime where I was like, yeah, AFC East time, playoff time, just for to be disappointed. I'm not going there yet, Jake, but there's a lot of positives coming out of Justin Fields, and I do feel like Justin Fields, people talk about him as he's trash, and he was bad with the Steelers last year. He was trash with Chicago. You got that context. He wasn't that bad with Pittsburgh. He had 9 total touchdowns, 1 interception, 4-2 record. Should have went 5-1. He led the Steelers down the field in the fourth quarter to take the lead against the Cowboys, just for the Cowboys to march back down the field. And then the Steelers defense lost him that game. Justin Fields should be 5-1 with the Steelers, and he got benched. And now this is his opportunity to prove himself, because if he does not prove himself now, Jake, he's going to be a long-time backup in this league.
Yeah, I mean, look, you look at the numbers, and overall, it's not great. We all could see what that is. But in his last 12 starts, the last 6 with Pittsburgh and the last 6 with Chicago, he went 8-4 with 17 passing touchdowns and only 7 turnovers, 17 passing and rushing combined, I should say. His record was 6-26 before those last 12 starts where he was 8-4. So the overall record is not great, but he's been getting better each year. Like, statistically, he has improved, and the Jets are banking on that continuing. And once again, they could try and talk around it all they want. They're saying they think his coaching has been terrible since he's been a pro. They think they're going to be the ones to change that. And what a narrative it'd be if the Jets, a team known for never coaching up quarterbacks and being the worst place for any quarterback to go and develop, actually is the organization that gets the most out of Fields. I'm not saying it's going to happen. I have my doubts, but at least if you were going to move on from Rodgers, they made the sensible choice of bringing in the guy that does have the most upside of anyone available.
And the biggest difference, Jake, between Justin Fields going to the Steelers, between him going to the Jets, is that this opportunity is perfect for Justin Fields. If you're Justin Fields, you should be very grateful, because when he got acquired by the Steelers, what did they have? They had a culture in place, a system in place offensively, a set standard, the Steeler way, successful organization. Justin Fields had to learn their whole thing. Justin Fields had to learn all the things about the Steelers. Now, Justin Fields is part of a brand new thing starting. They're going to build a system from scratch with Justin Fields at quarterback. Aaron Glenn is building this team from scratch. So he's part of that thing being built instead of attaching himself onto something that's already built. I think that matters. I think they're going to develop a system. Tanner Engstrand, the whole offensive staff, is going to create an offensive system that is all for Justin Fields to take advantage of his strengths, to hide his weaknesses, to get the most out of him. And I think that is something that the Chicago Bears obviously attempted to do but failed miserably, that the New York Jets are going to try to do, and hopefully it works.
Coach James checks in. He's in the raffle for 2 more with his $10 super chat. Good for Rodgers. Wish him well, except against the Jets. This will be a good test for the Jets, but won't make or break either way for the Jets. So I would hope it wouldn't make or break, but I do think it is important for this regime to get off to a good start. And if they lose week 1, you're playing the Bills at home week 2. Not easy, obviously. I guess you'd rather play them early than late, but still, it's the Buffalo Bills. They were a player away from the Super Bowl last year. They've been the dominant team in your division for years already now. And then after that, on the road, the ASMANIACS will be taking over Tampa, but that's still a playoff team a year ago. And then after that, Jets-Dolphins is usually always close in prime time. It's not an easy start to the year, and if this team is going to do anything, they can't bury themselves early. They got to be relevant after their bye. Can they be 3-5 at the bye? 4-4 would be a dream. Like, that's what you're kind of looking at. And if you put yourself in a hole right away, it's tough to expect this team to get out of said hole when we have no idea about the quarterback and the coaching staff right now.
I agree, man. I think that the coaching staff is going to be really interesting, man. What do you think about Aaron Rodgers? Are they going to do well? Are they going to make the playoffs?
They always make the playoffs. So
are they going to win a playoff game?
I don't know. I mean, I think he does raise their floor over Russell Wilson or, Mason Rudolph and whatnot. But, I mean, the AFC is loaded. Like, that's the reality.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a tough start to the season for Pittsburgh, and then they're going to get hot at the end and make the playoffs. That's my prediction. While losing week 1, by the way. That includes that, Jake.
Let's hope. Hit the like button if you just tuned in. There was a great question from JoJo. How do I send membership? Sorry, guys, I'm not great at this. So instead of sending a super chat, you hit the get the membership button that you see down on the right for anyone that's watching the show on a laptop or desktop. If you're on an iPhone, it will not let you gift a membership. You have to be on an Android. I don't know why YouTube can't figure that one out, but that is the case right now. You can only gift the membership if you have an iPhone from the laptop. If you have an Android, you can gift from the phone. So the one perk that Android people have. Also, huge shout out to Matt Kenny. I missed him earlier because he became a member before the show. I got you down, Kenny. You're in the raffle for one. Comments, questions, super chats. Last chance to get your question in for Richie to respond to. Let's talk about contract extensions for Sauce and Garrett. Are you optimistic that something gets done before the year with both guys?
Yeah, it's a weird situation because the Jets have to make sure that they do this the right way, the smart way. And I think that apparently they offered him a contract. Shout out to Connor Long on your show, Jake, having Jeremy Fowler on. I mean, that was a really great scoop from Connor, from Jeremy Fowler, saying the Jets offered a contract already. So that tells you that there is momentum happening. I think when minicamp is done and we go into that 6-week period of nothingness before training camp, that's when the two camps are really going to come together and try to get a deal done before training camp starts. I mean, they're at every OTAs. They're at every single mandatory minicamp. These are the guys you want to extend, and hopefully it gets done, man, because Garrett Wilson and Sauce Gardner extension before the season will get Jets fans even more amped up for the season when it starts.
If they can only get one done, do you have a preference?
Garrett Wilson. I think, and it's interesting because Sauce Gardner has technically the better career thus far in terms of first-team All-Pro, but I just feel like Garrett Wilson is the guy from a wide receiver standpoint is such a premier in this league, and I would prefer Garrett Wilson. But that's not a slight at Sauce. I don't know. Would you prefer Sauce or Garrett yourself?
Yeah, I agree with you. It's
hard to pin against them though. I don't want to do that.
Garrett's deal is harder to get done just because of the nature of the position he plays, and so much of his production is at times out of his hands based on the offense and the quarterback play, which has not been good outside of spurts here or there from Rodgers. Let's say last year, or like the occasional, great Flacco or Mike White game, right? Like, it's just most of the time Garrett Wilson's had bad quarterback play and he's had to produce despite all that. Whereas Sauce, sure, some of it is team success, but a lot of being a corner is, hey, can you win your one-on-one matchup? And Sauce has been a first-team All-Pro twice. I think they need to get both done. I think if you can only get one done, though, logically it makes more sense to get Garrett done because, Sauce is coming off a down year for his standards. So let's make sure he goes all the way back to being the Sauce Gardner of old. The risk with that, though, is that he's a lot more expensive if he's a first-team All-Pro for the third time in 4 years. Instead of just beating Stingley's deal for a cent over the $30 million a year, he's going to ask for 35, 37, 40 million a year with the cap going up 20% every season.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that when the salary cap goes up, that impacts every single position. So what do you think the number that Garrett's going to get, right? Like, what's your prediction? Because if you include the salary cap increase and you look at other deals, like, I think there's a world where he's demanding between 32 to 35 range just because of the salary cap going up. What are your thoughts? And if they keep waiting, it's going to keep going up.
I agree with the $30 million number. I think that's roughly probably where it starts. I think look at the deal that Amon-Ra St. Brown just signed, and I could see Garrett Wilson getting something similar.
Yeah, I agree. And he's just, you see that catch he made at practice yesterday?
It reminded me of the catch he had against Houston.
Yeah, it's just ridiculous. It's getting to a point where I'm like, this isn't normal, guys. Like, this guy is like really good. Like, we don't just have a good receiver, folks. We have a Oh, man, how good would it feel, Jake, if Justin Fields is the quarterback to somehow unlock Garrett Wilson's full potential and he becomes like a Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson level of impactfulness of 1,500 plus yards, 10 plus touchdowns? Like, oh, man.
Be amazing. I mean, look, Fields being the guy is the quickest way for this team to figure it out and be good because there's talent around him. Whereas if he's not the guy and you're going into the draft next year, unless you get lucky with CJ Stroud or Jaden Daniels, who are historically great and historical outliers as rookie quarterbacks, it's probably at least another 2 seasons before realistically this team could be in the playoffs in the second year of that rookie quarterback, unless they catch lightning in the bottle with whoever they draft in round 1 next year.
Yeah, man, and I think they're in a good position. The worst case scenario, Justin Fields stinks, and we got to move on, and we got the most stacked quarterback class we've seen in a while next year. So that's why I feel like the position the Jets are in right now is they're giving Justin Fields the keys. They're giving him a chance. Prove that you are what we say you are. And also, the Jets feel very confident about Fields. That's another thing. It doesn't feel fake. It doesn't feel like, well, let's see if Justin Fields can do it. But it really genuinely feels like Aaron Glenn and Darren Muji believe in Justin Fields. And the other part of it that's just as important, if not more, Justin Fields genuinely believes in himself. So we'll see. We've been waiting for a quarterback our entire lives, Jake. And I'm not going to sit here and say Fields is the guy for the long term until he goes out there and prove it. But hey, it's hard not to be excited.
Final question here, and then we'll let Richie run. DJ Dirty Cooch says, if the boys have time at the end, maybe they could give their reactions to Dallas declining us, interviewing Jason Kidd, and what direction does the Knicks front office have now? To me, they don't have a plan. I'm sorry. I don't buy it. I think they fired Tibbs irrationally. The more I think about it, I didn't want to believe it at first. I think Dolan forced Leon Rose's hand with this one because it doesn't make any sense to me to fire Tom Thibodeau and not have his replacement lined up. And now the strategy is request to interview other successful coaches around the league. Why would they make that guy available for the Knicks? So I don't like the direction. I didn't like firing Thibodeau. This is not a second guess. I screamed about it the second it happened on this show and on the radio. I don't think they have a real plan, and it's on Leon Rose to fly by the seat of his pants now and find a real coach.
Yeah, I actually just made a video on my Knicks Media YouTube channel about that report right before I came on here. So if you guys want to go check that out, it's on Knicks Media's channel. And I think Jason Kidd's, that was a pipe dream. When I heard his name being linked to the Knicks, I'm like, wait a second, that would be fun. But I'm like, that's not going to happen, man. I mean, there's no way the Mavericks are going to let him walk. But there's one part of me that's holding on the hope. Like, well, what if Jason Kidd says to Dallas, well, I kind of want to go to the Knicks. You guys traded Luka away. I know I got a chance to coach Cooper Flagg, but, maybe I want to leave and go to the Knicks. I don't know. I think Leon Rose thinks that this head coach position of the Knicks is like a really high quality job where he feels like he can lure away some coaches, and it's not working. The only chance it works is if these coaches step up and tell the organizations, hey, I want to go, so you better grant me permission. I want out, but I don't see that happening. So the Knicks firing Thibodeau was a bold move, and now whatever Knicks coach that they hire is going to be massive shoes to fill for them because now the expectations are championship. If they fall short, you know what that means.
100%. I mean, anything short of getting to the finals next year, it's a failed season. That's how you got to look at it. Yeah,
man. Another coaching search, just like the Jets just went through this past year, and now we're back in it all over again, folks.
The Jets should hire Tom Thibodeau. Add him to the staff.
Add him to the defensive staff, man.
Why not? Richie, great job as always. Appreciate you hopping on, man.
Thank you, Jake. Appreciate all the AsManiacs in the chat. Much love, and let's go Jets.
Ladies and gentlemen, Richie from Jets Media. Jet fans, if you're trying to go to week 1, Jets Steelers, Richie's got a great event for that, so definitely check that out on all his social channels. All right. I'm excited about this. We're going to open up the phone lines now. I received an email last week, right? And in this email, I was informed of a lovely couple that recently became engaged to one another during the NFL draft. Now, this couple, they are diehard Jet fans, or at least one of them is a diehard Jet fan, and maybe another member, or maybe the other half of the couple, I should say, was converted to the Jets. I don't know the whole story, but I'm going to get the answers right now. So Sean and Alex join us now. Hello, Sean, and hello, Alex.
Hi.
Hey, Jake, how's it going? Can you hear us good?
I hear you loud and clear, Sean. So basically, I think we got to let your fiance go first because she was the one who reached out. She's got to share the story, how all this came together.
So we were actually in Sweden when we got engaged. So he wasn't doing anything live. I don't know. I'm kind of out of the loop, but he was on his phone like all the time, following the draft after hours, or, jet lag and everything. And then I think I kind of knew it was happening because he got off his phone for like an hour or so. And we went for a walk and it was very nice. But yeah, I mean, we've been going to Jets games together for, I don't know, like 12 years now.
Yep, just about 12 years. All terrible years, by the way.
Yeah. Not as much recently because we moved to Florida, but maybe we'll be at the Tampa one.
So I got an email from Alex who said, "Hey, Sean loves the show, and we want to invite you to our wedding. We got engaged during the draft, which I couldn't believe he actually stopped watching the draft to propose to me. So it was an incredible note. So how did you guys meet? And Alex, are you now like locked in? You're all in on the Jets as crazy as Sean? Like, what's your level of Jet fandom? Because I know Sean is a true diehard.
Well, yeah, I'm not like a huge football fan in general, but obviously I'm diehard Jets all the way because I'm a big Sean fan. But we met. I was a lifeguard at the town park, and he was a swim instructor in Danbury, Connecticut. So we were close, and we went to games all the time up in New Jersey. But yeah, we were friends first, and we've just been together ever since. It's been over a decade. So I've been waiting a long time, just like all the Jets fans out there. I know the vibes.
And Sean, how long have you been watching this show? Because Alex says that you're tuned in all the time.
I got to say, I think I'm maybe near the beginning. I don't know. I was thinking about it, and I remember you pulled up one of my chats when we were talking about Top Gun Maverick being in theaters, and that was like early 2022. And so at least that far back. But I don't know. When did you start doing the show?
Right after Salo was hired, I would say I started going live daily at that point. So January of 21.
Yeah, so I think I probably got in during the season that year is my guess. Yeah.
That's awesome. So what has been the experience like, Alex, dating a diehard Jets fan here? Because I mean, you heard Sean just say the last 12 years, it has been brutal. The last 15 years almost have been terrible. What has it been like dating Sean during this stretch of Jets football?
Well, he's obviously, I know that he's super loyal. I always am saying to people, like, I know that I could just be a total loser for the next 10 years and he'll still stand by, But I guess I'm just glad that I am not a huge football fan, so I can just like be there to support him in the tough times. But sometimes I'm coming home from work and I'm Googling like Jets game to see what the vibes are going to be like when I get home. And yeah.
You could tell it, Sean, that you're a diehard because your entire mood is affected for the whole week based on what happens on check game day.
Yep, and it's evolved over time to where it's like I'm watching the game alone, locking in at home. I get too into it.
So you guys live in Florida now. Where did you say you're originally from, Sean?
Connecticut, Danbury, Connecticut. So just just outside of New York.
Gotcha. And I know you'll be at Tampa. You plan on coming up to MetLife for any other games?
I'm not sure yet. We'll have to see what the schedule is looking like, but definitely Tampa because the stadium's just about a half hour from here.
Now the wedding is in late February, and Alex wrote in the email that it was specifically planned to make sure that the NFL season is over, and just in case the Jets actually are in the Super Bowl, which is a concept I can't even fathom, you wouldn't have to worry about a conflict on your wedding day.
Yeah, we're not gonna have to worry about the messing with the Jets Super Bowl week. So
yeah, I can fathom it.
It'll be a celebration. It'll be a celebration.
Now, when you proposed, you made it pretty clear, hey, we can't have a fall wedding. I'm sure you had to have made that pretty clear.
That never in a million years. She would never even think about it.
I don't want to be like alone at the wedding while he's like trying to find a bar with a screen or something.
That's awesome. Well, I appreciate you guys inviting me. I will do my best to make it down there and attend.
Yep, open invitation.
Yeah, we'll get you to save the date.
I appreciate it. And Alex, your note to me was so nice. So I said we got to get you guys both on the show. It's such a cool story. So thank you so much, Sean, for watching the show. And you got a real one with Alex. I mean, that is wifey material right there.
Yeah, I got to say, I think, sticking by the Jets did me a lot of points in the relationship because she realized, I'd be loyal no matter what.
Love it. Love it. All right, we'll get you out of here on this, Sean. How many wins for the Jets in 2025?
If I got to be realist about it, I'm going to say 8. We'll go 8 and 9.
Hey, that's more. That's the highest win total the Jets have had in a decade. We'll take it.
Right. I'm looking forward to
That's
this.
what we're expecting. Yeah.
And I've wanted an athletic quarterback for the longest time. We keep trying to throw these darts. My whole Jets fandom. It's always like we want the next Peyton Manning type, And it's like I like where we're going. Run the ball. I'd like to see like 2 running backs in the backfield. Maybe a little option. Don't get too gimmicky with it, but let's run the ball. Let's see what we can do.
I love it. Sean, Alex, congratulations on the engagement, and we appreciate you guys supporting the show. Awesome to get you both on.
All right. Thank you so much. Take care.
The lovely couple, to quote Charles Gorman. Newly engaged. Love that. Shout out to Alex for sending the note. God. Yeah, the one thing about a Jet fan, you're loyal. It's true. You don't have to question the loyalty. There's no doubt about that. Eli says Jake asked him about the registry. I'll tell you what, if they share the link to their registry and AsManiacs want to buy them a wedding gift, I'd be happy to post the link if they get the A-OK on that. That's awesome. I sent them a bunch of merch once I got the initial email as an engagement gift. Radical Bongos, go live from the wedding. I'm already going live from O'Leary's wedding in November. I can't wait. Ladies and gentlemen, the great Connie Carberg is in the chat watching the show live. She says, loved how classy Aaron Glenn was, giving credit to the previous regime, getting players that are good guys, and credit to the guys drafted and signed that they were already there. Yeah, I thought that was a nice touch. Because once again, and Connie, you know this, there's talent on this team. It's why I don't buy they're going to be the worst team in the league that you've seen from some of the national outlets and the mock drafts having the Jets picking number 1. They're not that bad. I'm not saying they're great, but they're not the worst team in the league. The worst teams in the league don't have an offensive line like the Jets have. The worst teams in the league don't have a receiver in Garrett Wilson like the Jets have. The worst teams in the league don't have an all-pro on all 3 levels of their defense. Multiple Pro Bowl players on their defense. These are real things. The coaching was an abomination last year. It was horrible. They won 5 games with the worst kicker in the league. That cost them at least 2 games conservatively. So I don't think they're great. I need to see what Glenn is and what Engstrand is, and obviously, most importantly, what Justin Fields is. But this is not the worst team in the NFL. No way. Ladies and gentlemen, David Atkins is the latest to gift memberships. He's in the raffle for 5. Capo, Robert Heinen, Sully, Dalt, John D. Lee, all receiving channel memberships from David Atkins. Couple super chats here. Mr. Bonesy in the house. He's using his 21-month AsManiacs super chat. Football gods hate us. Gave us 1 year of a quarterback that gave Super Bowl aspirations. Now back to dreaming we could be a 500 club. Fields can't read a defense. Maybe not. But he can run, and you can build an offense around him, and maybe he can get better in that regard. And if you could give him 1 or 2 easy reads with Garrett and Mason Taylor as the 2 main options and Brace out of the backfield as the check down, you could build an offense that's decent. And with good coaching, you could scheme guys open. Sorry, not sorry. I don't know if I shouted you out, but thank you for gifting a membership. If I didn't, we'll add you to the raffle for 1. Cincy Matt in the house, using my free super chat to promote little Joey's birthday party tomorrow. Not sure why Gator is spending his free time to coordinate this, but I'm in. Ladies and gentlemen, on the Gator Sports YouTube channel, we celebrate little Joey's birthday tomorrow at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. God bless. Cincy Matt is in the raffle for 5. Let's go, Cincy Matt. Oh. His 5 memberships went to the following 5 listeners: Chris KV, Estevan, MJ, John Serpico, Carlos Marquez Jr., all receiving channel memberships from Cincy Matt. Great question I just saw from one of our outstanding listeners. Where'd it go? Can't find it. Hold on. I promise you it was a great question. Oh, here it is. Eli. Can I bring my Chiweenie to the party? Yes. I think all pets are invited, but I would have to ask Beast about that. I don't want to speak for him. It's a celebration of life. Sean checks in. Hello, everyone. Thank you for the kind words. Since Jake asked, I will put our wedding registry here, but the love from the Jet fans is enough. Sean, have your fiance Alex email me it, and we'll share it, and we'll let people contribute to the registry if they want. Support a fellow Asmaniac marriage. All right, let's get to more of your calls now, shall we? Let's say hello on the Gustbuster Umbrella Hotline to a man who might make 13,000 points. We say hello today to Neil.
Young love.
That's like you and Michelle back in the day.
That's right. Boy, does she regret that 4 years. There's a lot of good things in a marriage, but being a Jets fan has not been a positive in our marriage. It does show loyalty, that's for sure. You got to be loyal, dumb, numb, and stupid. And that's what we are. Welcome to the Jet fan base and the Jake Asman show. That's all of us. We're here. We still waving the flag, and we'll see what happens. I'm excited about the year, as I always am. As we get closer,
17-0.
Yeah, no. No. That
was only last year. Got it.
That ship has sailed. we're 8 wins, 7 wins, 9 wins. We're going to surprise to the upside. And the upside, Jake, as you know, it will be a 9, and a 10 would be spectacular, right?
10 wins would be spectacular. Yes.
That's as hope as we could be. But typical Jets will be 10 wins, rookie coach doing great defense, Fields will overperform, and we'll get to 10 wins. Then we'll sign him to a big deal and we'll shit the bed next year. But
question
we'll
for you. Jay wants to know, is Rodgers going to be running for his life during the opener?
That's a good question. What do you think, Jake?
I'm nervous about that game.
I'm not offering any points. My points are done.
What do you mean?
I want to know what you think.
They can't be done.
What do you think, Jake?
I think that the Jets are in trouble week 1. This has been my biggest
gun
fear
to your head. What gun to your head?
They lose. They always lose this game. So prove me wrong, Aaron Glenn. That's why I think it's a big game. I think they lose. I think Aaron Rodgers comes back and he throws 3 touchdowns and the Jets get laughed at like usual. That's what I think happens. I hope I'm wrong.
Yeah, well, he's not running for. Well, look, we'll see. We'll see. He's going to be motivated. You see, he made a comment about what do you think of Pittsburgh? It's a great franchise with Tomlin and a long history like Green Bay and Pittsburgh. He left our team out, which we don't have a long history or any kind of history, right? Our history is a mystery.
Our history is pain. And Rodgers tried to change that, and 4 plays in, he got engulfed, as Beningo would say, by the Jet karma.
Yes. But the new regime will turn it around. Okay? It'll get turned around.
You believe in Glenn. You like what you've heard.
I believe in Glenn. I don't know look, the investment that the company, I'm not happy with free agency. They didn't spend any money. They're going at this with like a very, very low. I don't know where we rank in the whole spending category. Is there a ranking on what our total spending is, contracts and everything? How do you compare that, Jake?
Well, they have the 4th most cap space available in the league right now, so they have money to spend.
But where are they, like, in other words, for every player contractually? Like Buffalo has $330 million invested in Josh Allen. They have this invested in. What's their investment on the current roster? Is there a number that the league has?
Sure. Go on Over the Cap and you could look it up. I don't have it in front of me.
But they didn't spend a lot of money.
They were conservative in free agency. They took some of the dead cap hits from some of the guys they needed to move on from, which I don't know why they didn't just absorb Rodgers' hit all this offseason and just clear the books for next year if this was going to be the approach, but that was their decision.
They have to look. I feel they have to get a couple of veterans at a low price to kind of mix in with the youth. You got to have a veteran or two in there, and I don't see it. They have no veterans at all at any room. Wide receiver room.
Josh Reynolds is a veteran. Alan Lazard's a veteran.
Alan Lazard is not a, but he doesn't look like he's not a leader. He doesn't have that leadership quality, you know.
Reynolds does. Reynolds is 30 years old.
Okay. All right.
They don't have a ton of vets. I mean, some of the vets on the team are guys that have been here a while. Quinton Williams is a vet. Quinton Williams is a leader on defense. He's the best. He's the first team All-Pro
nice
defensive
to mix
tackle.
in a guy like Fadakasi would have been a nice pickup. A guy like Calais Campbell, or a guy that could get them juiced up. That's been there and done that, and could kind of guide the guys into what it's like to be a winner. You can't all rely only on Aaron Glenn to point them in that direction, don't you think?
I think that they could have signed some more notable free agents in certain spots. But it wasn't a great free agent class either, so it was slim pickings at a lot of spots. I think they should have drafted a defensive tackle. That's my bigger issue than them not signing someone more notable. They brought in a bunch of bodies. Maybe Byron Coward is the real deal.
What about kicker and punter? Where are we with that? I don't really hear anything about kicker and punter. I mean, where are we going to go with that guy from last year as the kicker, the one that's a brother of the other guy?
They have him, and they have the guy that they added. Let's see. Kicker. Andrews Carlson had a good day yesterday. He's competing with a rookie in Caden Davis, who they signed.
Carlson
It wasn't bad. Just took too long for them to finally get him.
Right. And he's got a brother in the league, right? That's better than him or something? Doesn't he have a brother, Carlson? He has another brother on a team that's more established than him. Look it up. There's another Carlson that's a kicker. I'm almost positive.
I don't know about that.
And what about punter?
Punter, they have a couple guys competing. Yeah.
Okay. So kicker and punter, look, 22 and 23, the punting and the kicking carried us, Jake.
I know.
I mean, Greg the Leg carried us a lot of games. And what's his name? The punter. He was phenomenal.
Morstead, correct.
Morstead was so goddamn good.
He wasn't as good last year, but he still was solid. He still was an above average punter.
No shanks. We had the guy that's on the Eagles now. He was the shank king.
Yes.
What was his name again?
Special teams is a real thing. By the way, I guess Carlson's the brother of the Raiders kicker, according to a couple people in the chat. But
yep.
I mean, they had an elite special teams unit in 2023. That's why I laugh when you had the morons out there. But Rodgers only won 5 games. Zach won 7. It's like
our special teams dumped so bad.
They were amazing. Greg Zuerlein was 35 of 38 2 years ago. He couldn't miss. How many game-winning kicks did he have? They didn't score points. They only had field goal drives. That was it.
How's this? From 50 plus, I didn't even. I went to go get a snack because I knew it was going through the upper. I didn't even care. When he kicked a 52, 55, 54, it was like an extra point.
He was great. And then he stunk last year, and it was a huge problem. It led to the spiral of the season. I mean, ultimately, the special teams, if it's league average this year and the defense is a lot better, that to me is at least a 6-win floor right there. It should be.
And Morstead did not kick any. Why am I forgetting the guy that's on the Eagles now, our punter?
Braden Mann.
Braden Mann cost us at least one game. You remember, he rocketed a punt down the middle without any hang time, and the guy ran it back. He made a lot of shanks, a lot of mistakes, kicking in, no placement. Morstead places that ball right where you want it. If you got a big run back guy, he kicks it out of bounds and gets distance on it. He was so goddamn good and valuable. That's the fear I have, is that we get back. I mean, our special teams will be better, but I'm hoping it's somewhere near what it was 2-3 years ago, because it was great.
Yeah, it needs to be a lot better for them to be, because they're going to be in a lot of tight one-score games just by the nature of the offense they want to run, by literally running the ball as much as we believe they will. So what they need to do.
You got to play field position. When you have a defensive team, you have to play field position. And Morstead flipped the field so many times for us. That was like we didn't really pay attention to it because what do we care about? We care about scoring points and not giving up points. But the flipping of the field position with Morstead was the best I've ever seen a Jet punter do in a long time. Is he playing still or he's gone?
Yeah, the Niners signed him.
All right. Hope everybody we're having a great summer here. Finally, the weather got nice.
When are you jumping in the pool, Neil? People have been asking.
I went in the pool already. I went in the other. I was on a show. I was about to call in, but I've been in already, and it's not been pool weather. That's for shit sure.
We need you to call in and jump in the pool. Keep the tradition alive.
You know, I'm not playing in the golf classic. You're going to do the golf classic live. You know,
You're talking about Marty's event?
all
Yeah.
you have to do is stick a GoPro on my cart, and whoever I'm playing with, it'll be the best show you ever had.
Are you going to be there? If you playing it, that's a great idea. We definitely can.
Right? I go right in the GoPro. You flip it on.
Your guy Vinny Testaverde's coming on the show when I do the show.
I'll have Vinny will be on, and you know, we could do the bathroom routine.
I'm going to ask him about the time you two had a long conversation in the dressing room.
The towel on. About 9 guys waiting for a shower, and Vinny was behind me with his towel on.
It was a great moment.
Great moment. He's in great shape, I have to say. You know, for a guy, how old is Vinny Testaverde? He's got to be over 50s. Maybe he's right, high 50s.
I don't know.
He looked good. He looked good. I had a little man crush going with him. Yeah, he looked the best in the towel of any guy that was in the 5 left there.
Well, he'll be at this event, so I look forward to having him on the show. We're going to have him on. We're going to have Klecko on. We're going to obviously have Marty on for those who missed it. I think I shared it yesterday or the day before. July 14th, that's a Monday. We're doing our show live from the Marty Lions charity golf outing for his foundation on Long Island, so I am looking forward to that.
Great day. It's a great day. It's a great event. Great guy.
He's 61. Vinny is 61.
Jesus Christ. He's in great shape. 61. Get it. You know, he looked like he could still fucking play. Excuse my French. He looked like.
I went to the Jet Golf Classic Monday. We all go to the locker room and everybody's showering. There's a line of guys. And who gets behind me on the line but Vinny Testaverde?
Oh, God.
And I said, boy, Vinny, we could have used you last year. You know, Vinny, winning it in New York, is there anything like it? He goes, absolutely not. I go, are you looking for big things this year? He goes, yes. I go, how do you think Aaron's going to react coming off the Achilles? He did say that he's going to have some rust. He goes, look, it's going to be a little difficult in the beginning. They should rely heavily on the run the first couple of games.
Incredible. Neil, if you change your mind and you can make it to the Marty event, you let me know. We'll put a GoPro on Neil and let Neil do his thing. Neil's the reason Joe Tippmann came on the show last year before trading camp. And he gave us that incredible moment. Knobcraft. Naked Vinny looks good. Neil. Ref fan. Better boobs than Bobby. God. Neil's a legend, man. An absolute legend. Love it. All right. Let's get to more of your calls. Got a lot of you on hold. Appreciate you waiting. Ladies and gentlemen, up next on the Gusbuster Hotline is...
Ricky, New York is my name. Florida State is my game. My internet sucks, call it Jake. When it's time to smoke and debate, the New York Jets are gonna win. My team since I was a kid. My New York Jets are gonna win. I'm Richie, New York. Don't forget that. Florida State, bitches. New York Jets. We got this shit. It's time to win, baby. Win. Can't wait.
Hey, how's it going, Jake?
Ricky, how are you?
I'm good. Congratulations to Sean and Alex on the marriage. That's awesome. And doesn't matter that you moved to Florida. You can still be a Jets fan in Florida. Take it from me.
Hey, a lot of people are, Ricky. I mean, I've said this before. Florida is my third most listened to or viewed state. depending on how you want to describe it. A ton of Asmaniacs in Florida.
Oh yeah, definitely. And me myself, now I love my wife, but I was a little bit slow on the marriage thing. I drug my feet a little bit. Getting dressed up in stuffy clothes and around parts of the family that you don't like. It didn't sound fun. So we ended up having a rock and roll themed wedding on Halloween, and everybody was in costume, and we turned it into a party, and our wedding was a good time.
Love that.
Yeah, awesome. And still going strong, 34 years, so at any rate, onto the Jets. At the beginning of the show, you and Richie were talking about whether or not we should add a receiver. And everybody's been, whether it's media, us fans, whatever, everybody's been talking about, question marks at receiver other than Garrett Wilson. Now, I have actual proof that we will not trade Allen Lazard before the season starts. And my proof is that Aaron Glenn is not an idiot. Could you imagine if we traded Lazard to Pittsburgh and then he catches the game-winning touchdown to beat us? Could you imagine the circus it would turn into? Aaron Glenn is way too smart for that to happen. So
Lazard's
like it, don't like
we
it.
really think he's going to haunt the Jets week 1?
You know what? Wouldn't that be the most Jets thing to happen though? I mean, look what Leonard Williams did last year, and he could have been the second Jets player to come back to haunt us last year. But when we played Houston, Neville Hewitt's touchdown did not count because of the penalty. So I don't need anybody that was here coming back to bite us later on, but now he could get shipped off, but I don't think it'll be before week 1. You guys were talking about the Jets having the least rushing attempts in the NFL. That does not surprise me. That's what happens when Grandpa checks out of all the good running plays. We end up with that. But I've said it a bunch of times. I'm looking really forward to this year. I think we're going to be a lot more competitive than people think. And I think some people are going to be in for a shock. And I'm not afraid of Aaron Rodgers. I'm not afraid of the Steelers. I think we win week 1.
Sign me up, Ricky. You got me fired up.
Yeah, I think we put everybody on notice, and now, I'm not saying we're going to the playoffs. That I'm not going to get crazy with it. But I mean, I think the floor is 6 and the ceiling is 9. But I am looking forward to just the new culture, the new approach. Glenn gets me fired up. I like his pressers. Like Saleh. It was like depressors, things were already bad. And then we got to have him, with his, inspirational saying of the day calendar, giving us some kind of stupid quote that just didn't make us feel any better. Now the pressers, it's like a presser cooker, he'll smack down Samini. He'll smack down anybody with a silly question. He's not bullshitting around. He's going to tell it like it is. I love the way that, the players are talking about him. I think that they see the difference in his approach, and I'm seeing it. Couldn't be happier. And I'm going to tell you something. I'm looking really forward to meeting you in September. I'm looking forward to meeting all of the Asmaniacs who are going to be down here. Everybody go to the party at Gas Bars the day before as well. And just a little bit of history here. The reason that the place is called Gas Bars
Is it gas
the
bars?
reason,
Or I thought I was calling it gas bars. It's gas bars. Got it.
yeah, no, it's gas bars. The reason it has that name, the reason that Tampa Bay has a pirate ship in their stadium, and the reason we celebrate Gasparilla Day here in Tampa, Jose Gaspar was a pirate who invaded Tampa.
Scurvy.
And guess what? Tampa is getting invaded again this September by the green and white. And I
Tampa
absolutely
takeover,
can't
baby.
wait. Can't wait. Yeah, can't wait to see everybody. And real quick, I want to give a special shout out to Norberto, not only my Uber driver home from work this morning, but also my newest subscriber. And we're actually watching some clips of, well, he was listening. I was watching some clips of yesterday's show on the ride home this morning, and said he was going to check you out too. So if he's watching, Norberto, thank you for everything. And man, the days are getting closer and closer. I just cannot wait for this season to get started, because I think it's going to be a lot different than what we've had to put up with in the past.
I'm Ricky, New York, and I love to smoke. Florida State, I really love Florida State. Hey, easy Thomas, you know it's from Florida State. At any rate, I call into smoking debate. Florida State, I really love Florida State. At any rate, thanks for taking my call, Jake.
The optimism from Ricky NY. We love it. Can't wait to meet Ricky in Tampa. It's crazy. I've never met Ricky. He's been calling the show for years. I feel like I have met him, but never in person. So I'm looking forward to that. If you're coming to Tampa, I have a discounted hotel room link on the Patreon and Discord. I have info about the tailgate, the gas bars, patio bar and grill, happy hour party on Saturday, the night before the game. And there might still be group tickets left. I don't know. These are with the Tampa Jets Club. So I don't have the info on that, but I was happy to share the link with people for the best rate you're going to get on tickets. Way cheaper to do it through them than the buy on the secondary market right now. Also, I like how when Ricky was talking about the Pirates, I just threw out there random scurvy, and he was just like, yep, and then just continued with his point. Big time. Shout out to Ricky's Uber driver as well if he's watching the show. Hit the like button if you're tuning in. I want to remind people that you only have a couple shows left to get in the raffle for Friday. Bart Scott Can't Wait jersey. Signed. Mawai. Signed jersey. Hall of Fame inscription. Clyde Frazier. Signed Knicks jersey. And the grand prize of them all. Only the second time I've given this type of prize away. June's for the diehards. So we're doing something big for this raffle. Full-sized Broadway Joe helmet. So gift a membership to be entered in. With that said, we got more people on the line, so I want to get to more of your calls. Before we do that, though, if you missed yesterday's show, another all-time call from none other than Charles Gorman. Were you wearing a Patriots jersey yesterday?
No, that's just bullshit done by Dixon Yass.
Interesting. Matthew wants to know how you think the Patriots will do.
I'm not talking to that piece of shit.
Whoa! You know, that's actually a great point. Robbie Sabo, by the way, he didn't know what a squatty potty was. And I told him.
My parents showed it to my parents. They don't like it.
Have they ever used it themselves?
No, but they don't like the squatty potty.
Well, they haven't tried it. It's scientifically proven.
If you're going to call me a fan of a team that I like a certain player on, then screw you guys. You guys have no proof that I'm an actual Patriot fan.
Nate writes in, what has Charles done today to pursue?
Nate, mind your own fucking business.
Whoa, whoa. Let's be civil on this show. We're a family program. Oh, my God. My son just explained to his friend, this guy calls into shows and takes dumps, and then my dad did it to him.
I don't take dumps on people's shows all the time.
So OJ didn't kill people all the time, but he was labeled as a murderer. You see the point?
Yes. Well, I wanted to tune in to see what Bobby was doing, and I had to take a shit. Well, there's a lot of Indian places.
What do you mean Indian places? Like Indian restaurants?
I'm living in a big Indian community here in Asman.
Gator wants to know if you live on an Indian reservation. Yeah, we talking American Indian or Asian Indian? Are you the head tribal chief? Sean wants to know.
I can't be a head tribal chief if I'm not Indian, so no.
The greatness that is Charles Gorman. One more for you from yesterday. Yesterday, V-Man called in, and some are accusing him of disrespecting our great country. So when Charles called in, we made sure to honor the greatest country in the world.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
America, baby. America. Okay. More of your calls, but first, Jetaholic with a great question. What is the criteria? Hold on. My alarm should not be going off. Jetaholic with a great question. What is the criteria for getting an intro? One of the best parts of the show. Jet Steelers tickets secured. Jet up. Also thoughts on QB3. I mean, Brady Cook or bust right now, right? I guess Adrian Martinez is still there. We'll see. That's a training camp competition. Who knows if they even keep 3 quarterbacks? I don't think they will. They probably only have 2, and they'll try and stash one on the practice squad. The criteria for getting an intro is if Gator feels like making you one, pretty much. Sometimes I request one for certain callers, but usually Gator and I are aligned. If you call enough, you'll get an intro. You also got to be a character, too. Like, you got to be a notable caller. You got to stand out. You know, sometimes you get one right away. Sometimes it takes time. But when you get one, you know you have made it. Like this guy, one of the all-time greats.
And it was one of the greatest honors of my life to get the intro. How you doing, Jake?
I'm good, Kyle. How are you?
I'm doing splendidly. Thank you for asking. I think Richie is a good guest to have on. You guys play well off each other. There were a couple of interesting things that came up during that discussion. A couple of things I agree with, a couple of things I kind of didn't. I don't think that Glenn necessarily makes the reporting pool's job harder. That's one thing I seized on. I think that he's not going to be afraid to challenge them. I think he's vastly different than Saleh because Saleh was so frustrating to, the ultimate consumers of the information, the fans, right? Like, he talked around in circles. He gave you really nothing, and he conveyed at a kind of a broad, wide level that a lack of confidence. That's what I took from him. Now, he built a good defense. He built an incomplete team, and there were some things that strategy-wise and just situationally that I didn't like, and I'm starting to buy into Glenn a little bit because I kind of like the fact that people are kind of on the balls of their feet with this guy, and they are very much aware of their responsibilities, and he looks like he's about accountability, all that jazz. I've been pretty harsh critic of Saleh. I hope that it's better for him the second time around. He wasn't a coach for the whole team. He struggled with the media. There were problems I had with him. I was a little surprised that Neil wasn't more effusive about Aaron Rodgers' chances with the Steelers. I thought he was going to say that they were going to go 17-0.
I think Neil's a Jet fan through and through. He just wants to believe, no matter. He's the eternal optimist.
Right, and then on the other hand, you had Ricky, who was saying he wasn't afraid of the Steelers or Aaron Rodgers, but seems to somehow be afraid of Alan Lazard, which I don't get. Like, I love Ricky, but like, Alan Lazard is the least of all problems.
So what you're saying, Kyle, is you would love to smoke and debate with Ricky on Alan Lazard.
Well, if you wanted to, we could certainly do that. But I don't think Alan Lazard is a threat to us in game one of the 2025 season. That's what I'm saying. Like if we can get a 6th round pick for Alan Lazard tomorrow, I think we should probably do it. That's my feeling on it. Even though the wide receiver room is a little bit tight, I think it gives an opportunity to look at some other guys. We've had a pretty good look at Alan Lazard so far, and I can tell you I didn't really like what I saw too much. And then the last thing I wanted to say that Richie was kind of talking about, and I think you touched on it a little bit too, was areas of the team, specifically the defense, that could really thrive under Glenn's tutelage. And I'm thinking right now about the safety room, right? I think there was a widely held belief among the fan base that safety was kind of ignored by Douglas Sala administration. And if we're going to be playing a kind of a different defense that's going to be a little bit more to our strength and what we perceive our strengths to be, and we're building it in what we think we need it to be, bringing in guys like Cisco, bringing in guys like Moore, creating competition for guys that have already been on the roster. I think that is a very, very good thing. And I'm anxious to see how the safeties perform this year because it's been pretty clear that under Salah we needed more takeaways and we didn't get them. So
Correct.
Let's get them. I appreciate your time,
Kyle. Good call. I think Malachi Moore's got a chance to win a job starting. I don't think Tony Adams' spot is secured. We know Cisco's one of the starters. I think the other safety spot's competition. Ricky has responded to Mr. Clifton. He says, Kyle, I'm personally not afraid of Lazard. I was saying as the first-time head coach that Glenn not put himself in a scenario where something like that could happen, to be clear. I don't think Glenn cares. Like, I think if they traded Lazard, he wouldn't care. I think if they keep Lazard, it's because they want to run the hell out of the ball, and they're like, Lazard and Reynolds are big receivers who could block well, and that's going to be our offense. I think they're a receiver short in that run, though. Even with Garrett being healthy, I just would like another veteran. Keenan Allen's out there. I'd sign him in a second. Ladies and gentlemen, if you saw the show earlier, we had a lovely couple, Sean and Alex. They called in. Sean's a Jet fan, converted Alex. They got engaged. We heard their love story. And someone in the comments suggested, hey, what's the registry link? Well, I was emailed the registry link. So if you want to support an Asmaniac couple, Alex and Sean, it is now in the description for the video you're watching, and I just put it in the live chat. And I saw on the registry, one of the options you could donate to is a Jets game fund, a cash fund. That's on their wedding registry. Give them the gift of a honeymoon at MetLife Stadium, baby. Nothing more romantic than that, huh? Make sweet love at MetLife. Ladies and gentlemen, our next caller is polarizing. So I will sound the alarms and give you all a warning. 6 rings. Hello, 6 rings.
You know what? That answered one of my questions, how you get an intro. Maybe I should get an intro sometime.
I don't think you want an intro.
And I am a unique caller. You know, I do stand out in various ways.
I don't think you want an intro.
Okay.
I don't think it will go well.
It's good to call in, your day off. It's hard to call in from the hospital all the time.
You watch the show from the hospital, 6 rings?
No, not today.
But in the past,
today I'm home, I'm off. So it's hard, because there's doctors, nurses, and everyone. So it's hard to call in. But this is what I called. Trade or extend Sauce Gardner, right? I think if you guys do this, you have to do it before the season starts. Because if you don't extend him, he might get disgruntled or everything and start demanding a trade. Or if he has a phenomenal year and goes all pro, his salary is going to hit upwards of 30, 35, 37 million dollars. And then it could become a risky contract. So I think the best thing for you guys to do is extend him as soon as possible.
I think they should extend him and Garrett Wilson. I would not trade them.
Yeah, for sure. But I put him, though. I disagree with Richie. I put him over Garrett Wilson. I feel his resume is a lot more impactful. I think his all teams and his defense is elite. So that's why I think I value him over someone that he's never really been an all pro team yet. He's still trying to find himself, you know. This guy, he's solidified. He brings stardom. And I think he's a good player. I think you guys should hold off to him.
Now, I noticed you made your bed this call.
Yeah, it's just days. You know what I mean? Some days you feel like it, some days you don't.
So, some days you just never make your bed?
I usually do. Some days.
What determines if you're going to do it or not?
That's life. I don't know. I don't have an answer for that.
Now, Dave Brigga says it's BS that I'm allowing you to give your input on the Jets. What are your thoughts on that?
Hey, I'm just a fan. You know what I mean? I just like sports in general.
Nate wants to know if the bed behind you is Charles Gorman's grandmother's bed.
It is an old school bed, actually. I think it's about 15 years old.
When was the last time you had a different bed?
I don't know.
So that's been your
Probably
bed for
10,
how long?
15 years ago. Yeah, 10, 15 years ago.
So you lived in the same spot where you are in Canada?
Yeah,
there
I've lived in the same house, man, forever, you know.
And where in Canada are you again? You're in Toronto?
I'm from Richmond Hill. I'm from Richmond Hill, Ontario. It's like 20 minutes away from Toronto. So the heart of like the GTA.
Okay.
And yeah, quick thing about the Knicks. Are you interested in Kevin Durant or you think the team should run it back?
It depends on what I would have to give up to acquire KD.
I don't know. Yeah. I don't know what they'd have to give up. What if it was Towns or somebody?
I would not do that. No.
You wouldn't. So would you rather run it back or make a trade for Kevin Durant?
I'd rather run it back if my option is trade Towns for Durant.
Okay. And last thing, I was wondering, where do you shop for your prizes? Is there a specific store you go to?
Yeah, www.noneofyourbusiness.com.
Okay.
Just kidding. No, all over the place. Name a memorabilia company. I've bought items from everywhere. I try and find the best deals so I could do as many raffles as possible.
Yeah, that's cool that you do raffles. This is why I come watch your show, because I can go watch the Patriots podcast too, but there's no call-ins, there's no entertainment. You know, I don't want to watch
because
a
other
channel
fan bases suck. You guys don't deserve the success you've had. You're bandwagoners.
No, I wouldn't say success. You know, the Raptors had success. They brought in Kawhi Leonard, somehow went on a crazy
I don't
run.
care about the Raptors. You're calling in as a Canadian, a fan of the Patriots. You're a bandwagoner.
No, I'm not a bandwagoner. I mean,
You became a Pats fan after they won their first Super Bowl.
Yeah, but I was also young, you know, I could have became a Cowboys fan, though.
You could have just been a Bills fan. They play games in Toronto. That should have been your team. I would have respect if you said they're the closest team. They play games in Toronto. That's our market.
No, it just never was the case.
The Patriots have been good for most of your life.
Yeah, and that's when I started watching. I could have been a Cowboys fan.
Yeah, but you chose the team that happened to be a dynasty for 20 years.
But that was before the dynasty, right? I chose them.
You chose them after they won their first championship.
Yeah, but the
after
first
they already
championship,
won.
You're young, you know, you're a kid, you know, moments like that, maybe, you know what I mean? You're a kid, you know, you're 10 years old, 9 years old. So when something like that happens, you know, your mindset is different. You know, you see a player you love and
Mike D's Nuts wants to know, how's the Subaru you schmuck?
oh, it was good. I traded it. Now I have an Infinity. That was my old car, the Subaru.
How's the Infinity? Is it driving smooth?
It's smooth. It's a good car. You know, people say they have problems and everything, but at the end of the day, I've had no problems with it. It's a good car. But the Subaru's better on gas. You know, it comes with automatic all-wheel drive. Well, yeah, that's all. It's nice to call in on your day off.
So what's on the agenda today? You called into the show.
I went to the gym earlier. So now I actually have time to watch your show, right? Sometimes I try to catch it after work.
See, I can't hate this guy, people. He seems like a nice guy. He might be
or like on a lunch
but
break
he's a nice
or something.
guy.
Or like on a lunch break, but it's hard, you know, just to sit there
Now,
Yeah.
what type of workout did you have today? Was it arms day?
I did arms, yeah, and I went and shot some hoops.
You pumped some iron?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, I work out.
Yeah.
Maybe go for a walk or a run after. Okay, sorry. Last thing. Do you have an update on the prize I won? I won, like, do you know when?
Yes, I'm currently in a bidding war over a couple of Patriots items. The hardest thing is not
Okay.
the items, it's finding a distributor that will ship to Canada.
Yeah.
You know, if you were from Boston, you would have had it by now, and I
Yeah.
couldn't call you a bandwagoner, but no, you're not.
So how long do you think it can take you? Another 2 weeks, maybe?
Maybe a year.
That
I'm serious.
would take. Okay, that would take a long time.
I know it's not easy shipping to Canada.
I think NFL, don't they ship NFL shop?
Yeah, but what if I don't want to use NFL Shop? I'm tired of giving Goodell money.
Okay. Okay, it's no problem.
You have my word, though. You will get a prize. You know, you did the right thing agreeing to an exchange after you somehow won the C.J. Mosley jersey.
Okay, so.
So the
Okay,
problem is Nate
like-
keeps outbidding me on eBay, which has been a big holdup in getting your prizes. So blame him.
It's okay, it'll come. You have to be patient.
Yeah. Well, I'm a Jet fan, so all I know is patience.
Okay.
Anything
Okay,
else on your
thanks for
mind?
time. What?
Anything
No,
else on
that's
your
all.
mind?
Thank you. That's all. Thanks.
Well, you enjoy the day off, Six Rings, all right?
Okay, you too.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, Six Rings checking in. He's too nice of a guy to really be mean to. Like, if he was a typical Pats fan, oh, we'd go at it. But he's not even from Boston. He's not a masshole. The Canadians are usually nice, too. Just look at Boomtown. He's the nicest guy ever. But he is a bandwagoner. I will not get off that. And I am going to get him a Pats item. And that's how you know these raffles ain't rigged. Because you think I wanted to give a signed C.J. Mosley jersey to a Patriots fan? No chance. All right, more of your calls. Appreciate everyone who's staying with us. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to say hello right now to a man that has had some tech issues over the last couple times we've tried this. So I'm not sure what's going to happen. It could really be anything. So stop what you're doing. Get close to your screen and watch along.
Hello, I'm Mikey. I'm Bobby's little bro. Have you seen Jake Graves? She's so beautiful. I love my boy Jake, but not in a gay way. I am so happy. I'm not gonna touch anything, I promise.
Mikey! Can you hear me? Mikey! Mikey, you're on mute. Mikey!
Hello, I'm Mikey. I'm Bobby's little bro. Have you seen Jake Graves? She's so beautiful. I love my boy Jake, but not in a gay way. I am so happy. I'm not gonna touch anything, I promise.
That's a classic Mikey call. Mikey, try again. Where's Bobby? Can Bobby get off his rumpus and help you? Go pick Bobby up from his apartment, bring him back to your place, and see if he can fix your setup. Bobby was doing his show last night. He isn't calling to this show. I call it, unbelievable. Hit the like button if you haven't. Let's get some more memberships, more chances to win the Namath full-sized helmet, Frazier signed jersey, Mawai signed Hall of Fame jersey, Bart Scott signed jersey. Your chance to win. More of your calls right now. Daz is on the line. Hey, Daz. Daz. Daz.
Hello, I'm Mikey. I'm Bobby.
I'm just kidding playing the Mikey intro, but that's kind of what that felt like. God, can anyone figure out how to use the internet in 2025? Am I asking for that much? Maybe. I know what to do. Let's bring in a guy who is always reliable, always makes salient points. Adam is next. Hey, Adam.
Hey, cool. Thanks for the compliment. And my internet is working. Yep.
You sound good, Adam.
Hey, you know what? I think Six Rings is really nice. I couldn't have said it better myself. I think we need to convert him to a Jets fan. I think that's what we got to do. I
I
think
don't know
that's
if I
our
want him
seasonal
though.
mission.
It wouldn't be real. He become a
Why
Jet.
not?
I mean, he should be a Jet fan. He's watching a Jet show every day. Like he has no ties to the Patriots other than he picked them when he was 10. It's not like he's from the area.
So everyone be nice. I think why else would a Patriots fan want to watch a Jets channel unless they secretly want to join the Jets? I think this is it. I think this is a great opportunity. 6 rings. Come change teams anyway. Go ride the new bandwagon. We're going to get 6 rings now.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a tough sell because we just hate the Patriots so much.
Just because he's wearing the jersey and he's got the memorabilia. But yeah, I don't like the Jedi mind trick of don't extend Garrett because I guarantee you the Patriots will throw everything for Garrett if he hit the open market. So let's not fall for that trap. 6 rings, nice try.
Good point.
We need him, and I think when we look at the Patriots wide receivers, who is their wide receiver one?
Stefan, I'm partying on a boat with alleged drugs. Diggs.
All right, on one leg, and is he better than anyone not Garrett Wilson on our receiving team? Because we talk about receiving talent. I feel like the Patriots are still worse than us in aggregate.
They are, yeah, but the Jets wide receiver room is not very good. I mean, you have Garrett. Garrett's obviously better than a lot of number ones around the league, but it's just him right now.
Well, thank goodness we're not going to have to rely so heavily on the passing game with this offense. So
that's why they're not signing anyone, I believe, because they're like, we have Mason Taylor, he's going to be a factor. We're going to use Brees as a receiver more. We're going to scheme guys open, and we're going to run the hell out of the ball.
I love that. So speaking of the way and speed, also, I think we're going to win with speed as well when we are doing passing. That seems to be the premium. That's why we got Arian Smith. That's why I think we're going to be looking at that as well. So I was thinking about the annual question. Have you heard anything about the turf? And I know this is like the stupidest question. It's probably low on everyone's list, but like, how is the turf going to affect us in the run game? How's it going to affect us in the speed game? Because like we really are still thin in those different positions, the scoring positions. Are we running any risks here with the way that we're running our offense that we haven't factored in how the turf's going to play? Because that's half our games.
I mean, it's the same turf as always. Like
Sucks.
Like, the Jets were 3rd in the NFL in rushing in 2010. They had the same turf then. Here's what it is.
Because I feel good about our line depth. Like our offensive line depth, I think is really strong.
Yeah,
really good.
It's the best it's been in years. I mean, Josh Myers being one of your primary backups is a really good signing. This guy started a lot of games. He's had good years before. Like, got him for $3 million. It's a good move.
And I also think it's very telling that given the challenges with the defensive line last year, the fact that we weren't like splurging there either makes me feel like the especially with Wilkes again. I have a lot of faith in him in particular, and Aaron Glenn for that matter. If you've got 2 very strong defensive minds feeling like the line is okay, depth wise and talent wise, I trust their judgment. I think they have some credibility on that front. Let's just hope that they're schemed better, so we're not just being a 7-10 split on defense, because I'd appreciate that as a Jets fan. But yeah, I mean, I thought the press conference yesterday was really good. I really liked the whole, the pursuit is good, but now they got to finish with takeaways and tackles, which I think everyone watching saw that issue. So it's good to have the speed already out of the box, and let's see what happens there. I'm looking forward to it.
Great call. The team has a lot of speed on the outside at a lot of positions. What type of roles Arian Smith could have right away, that remains to be seen. But we know he's fast. Ladies and gentlemen, no intro, right to him. Mikey, are you there? Mikey. Mikey.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Hey, Beast.
Buenos dias, Jake. Did you lose something this morning?
I can't find my Apple Watch.
After the show, tear down the whole place, see where you misplaced it, and go backtrack your steps.
Okay, thank you.
That's easy. Oh yeah, you know what I do sometimes when I lose something? Okay, slow down, backtrack where you put it last, and go. Okay, all right, okay. Boom, there you go.
Bingo! Right there in front of me. Ding, ding. Voila! Right in front of you. A sandwich. And
You get the fuck out.
Thank you, Beast. All right, more of your calls right now. Let's say hello on the Gusbuster Umbrella Hotline to one of the greats.
He thinks that Charles and Bobby need to get a job. This cowboy hates to see ASMANIACS complain. What he call him, one punch bigger. You need to get a job. What he call him, one punch bigger. The beast is on his ass. Call him one punch bigger. Has anyone seen Dean Mac? Call him one punch bigger. You only need one.
Hello, Dave.
Good morning, Jake. Good afternoon, rather. Just turned 12 o'clock. How are you today?
I'm good, Dave. How's everything on your end?
Good. The sun is shining finally here. You know, the rain has let up a little bit, so we can be thankful for that, right? I mean, it's been
Amen.
bad. I mean, this spring has been bad, very bad. Why are we tormented by these fans like that? Whatever his name is. What's his name? Louis. That's his real name, isn't it? Louis.
Louis Six Rings.
Louis. Well, Six Rings. You know that sums him up because he just came on a bandwagon when he became a Patriots fan. And he's a guy from Canada, doesn't even understand anything about ice hockey. How's that possible? How's that possible? You know, when you come from Canada, Toronto especially, you know nothing about ice hockey. Nothing. Zero. I mean, never saw anything like it. He's not too swift, put it that way. Anyway, why are we subject? If he's going to be on, tell him to take that Patriots cap and jersey off. You know? I mean, why do we have to be tormented by these people? Yeah, okay, he's a good guy. He's not, he's not that good. I mean, nobody's good. It gets me why these fans from other teams have to come in here and torment us. You know, now we even have a fake Bernard Nixon. This is a good one, isn't it? Fake Bernard Nixon. Who would take on the persona of that man? I mean, who in their right mind would come into some type of chats and take on that personality? I mean, it's unbelievable. And he's all over the place. He's even in Bobby's show. Can you imagine that? He's even in Bobby's show. I don't get it. I don't get it. I just, how we suffer, nobody knows. No, it's suffer beyond a reasonable doubt. I mean, we don't win. We have an organization that we love them, but they hate us. Hopefully that's going to change now. Glenn, he's even having Bible studies in there. Thank God. He's getting some truth in there as opposed to Salah, that dumb stump, I mean, Salah was, the theory is he knew defense, but he could never adjust. That's what you guys give him credit, but he never adjusted. And he knew absolutely nothing about offense. And he brought in that his hatchet man. We had the hatchet man to bring in Rodgers. It's just, you can't make it up. You just can't make you can't make our fandom up. You just really can't. How we're tormented. And then we have these fans that come in on top of it. I don't know, Jake. What are you going to do with this guy? What are you going to do with him? Now you owe him a jersey, and he can't even make a deal with the guy.
Yeah, it's a tricky spot, Dave. I mean, I don't think he's a bad guy, but he's definitely a bandwagoner. So that's my take on him.
Right, but now what if we go into these sites? What do you think would happen to us? They would tear us apart. They would tear us apart. First of all, we've won nothing. And then we'd go in. I mean. So they come in and they do all this. They do this to us.
We tore him apart. Purple Ball Mike exposed him. Beast went after him. The chat hounds him every time. He gets it. I mean, he understands what he's signing up for. If you're joining a Jet Chat decked out in Patriot gear,
right. Well, the question is he going to last? How are we going to get rid of him? I mean, that's how, we got rid of Bernard Nixon. Finally, he went back to his boy. He ran back to him. I don't know I guess Gator was searching on Steelers sites. Did he see any trace of Bernard Nixon on there?
I'm not sure. I don't know what Steelers YouTube is like.
Yeah, I've never gone on there. I didn't even think. I know they have Roethlisberger as a show, but I don't have time for that stuff. Just keeping up with our fan base is enough. And Bobby, Bobby's back. He seems like he's come back full throttle. So. His eye seems to be healed up. He needs a job still, though, Dave. Oh, well, you know what happened last time I was on? Charles Gorman was on, and as soon as I came on, Charles Gorman disappeared. He goes, I got to go. You know?
He's
I
afraid
gotta
of you.
go. No, he shouldn't be afraid of me. You know, he's getting bad advice. This coach that he has is a terrible coach. Whatever her name is.
Coach Mosk.
Mosk, okay. Well, she's not doing a good job, and Charles is depending on her. He's got to hit the streets. You know, she's got him in a spell. You got to get your own. You have to go looking for yourself. Like I always say, I don't know Charles Gorman's particular difficulties, whatever they are, but there's people that have more difficulties than Charles, and they found ways to be productive. And that's what he needs to be. And his mouth has gone over the rails here as he's gone independent living. I mean, he's out of control.
He's got a sailor's mouth. Yeah, very.
Oh, it's gone. I love Charles. You know, I love Charles. You know, and I like to see him just. You know, he's got to get moving. What are we going to do with Charles? Then he's got issues. You know, then he's got his personal care issues. You know, practically slicing his throat open. I mean, he's got. I guess he got electric shaver now, doesn't he?
He does have an electric shaver. Gator sent him one.
Yeah, I heard yesterday. You asked him if he has his. He still has his toaster and microwave inoperative. So I mean, he's and he's got this. He had some kind of what's he? Chicken nuggets now? Chicken nuggets out of the microwave. The guy's he's got to run home to get a good meal. He's not he's not really independent. He's got to run home. So this man needs to get productive. In order to.
Well, I have an update for you, Dave.
Yes.
Apparently, Coach Mosk is having Charles try out for a job on 17th. That's the latest report I have on Gorman.
Oh, that's good. That's good news. So it's finally she's found getting him into action. So yeah, he needs
some sort of tryout. Yeah, he needs to make the team. I don't know what team he's trying out for what job, but hopefully he makes the team.
Well, if he doesn't make it out, I'll go over there. We'll get him a few tryouts. I'll get him out of that apartment. I'll take him around. I'll stick him in my car. I'll get this guy a job. I told him already. I want to see these guys. Bobby too. Now, Bobby, I got to be careful because every time I try to make comments, he gets upset. So I don't want to get Bobby upset because I don't know the way he gets. I mean, he goes crazy. So
we're a soft society nowadays, Dave.
Oh, softer than Salah. I mean, because he gets softer than him. Every time I just think that name makes me sick. Really. The years wasted with that guy. The years wasted. That's how I see it. I know you guys prop him up. Great defensive coordinator. The wide nine that never adjusted. Not stopping the run, not being prepared to stop the run, signing guys that couldn't stop the run, not giving Quinn Williams any help inside. I mean, that's where we need the help. They got to stop the run. Without stopping that run this year, we have to stop the run. And go out there and sign Clowney. We need we need a veteran. We need him. Go on, get him. He's going to cost us just maybe $10 million? Give him the 10. We got it. We got it in the bank. Woody's got it. Just go ask Woody. Glenn's in control. I guess, hey, our faith is in Glenn this year. That's it. We're depending on him.
We need him to be great. There's no doubt.
Yeah. We just have to be optimistic. Just don't give up yet. Don't give up. Nobody give up. Never give up. Never.
Ladies and gentlemen, the great one punch, Dave Brigger.
He thinks that Gary needs more shots upside his head. This cowboy hates when you don't believe in achievement. Well, they call him one punch Brigger. The moon landing was great. They call him one punch Brigger. His claim is not true. They call him one punch Brigger. Hated jokes and spiked his ass. One punch Brigger. Don't you know they need one? Yeah.
A great call from Dave there. Charles Gorman, the job hunt continues. Also, this is a pretty good troll. Patriots 12, that's 6 rings after Brigger just annihilate him. He goes, great call. I do respect the trolling there. That's funny. You can't laugh at that. I mean, come on now. That said, Patriots 12, you're still a bandwagoner, but I don't have a problem with you watching the show. We do welcome all fans here, but I can't control the chat. You come on the show and you wear Pat's jersey, you're going to be treated as such. Ladies and gentlemen, Daz is back with us. Daz, can we hear you?
Hello.
Hello, Daz.
Hi, how's it going?
You tell me, man. What do you got?
Well, this Patriots 12 guy. I'm not being funny. Calling in with that piece of shit on your fucking top. It's expected, isn't it? You know what I mean? It's just it's definitely a bandwagon. There's no two ways about it. I mean, who would want to be a fan of that fucking absolute abortion if you're not? There's definitely an asterisk, as it says on my thing, next to them 6 rings, because of the sheer cheating that they did over them years. And he can celebrate that, but they haven't got an achievement. I can understand that's why Brigger is the way he is. Obviously, Brigger ain't gonna like it because they don't achieve fuck all. They just cheat. It's dirty cheating pat bastards, basically.
I can't.
Hello?
Yeah, I can't argue with that. Sure.
I thought you'd frozen then. I thought my internet had gone to shit again.
Are you moving, Daz? You got a lot of boxes behind you, it looks like.
No, I need to get rid of that box. It's just from a job.
I see.
Because I've just, achievement again, working. I mean, that's back to my original point though. Like, I can't believe Gorman's a Patriots fan. I didn't know this. And he says it's all fake, it's AI. You know, I work with AI a lot, and that's not AI. He definitely wears Patriots jerseys.
So you think that's a real photo of him in the patches, and you're not buying the AI thing there?
Absolutely, yeah. He's definitely real. He's another one. They're all coming in, and it's worrying a bit, to be fair, because Gorman was the first seed. You know what I mean? And he's a Patriots fan now.
It's tough to argue. I mean, you know AI as well as anyone. So if you think it's real, who am I to judge?
Yeah, I know. It's definitely real. So, yeah, there's that. I mean, yeah, that's basically it, really.
Do you think Charles will get a job soon? Are you optimistic on this tryout on the 17th?
Well, I'll tell you what. I'm more optimistic with the fact that he shouldn't have that coach. Like, she's clearly not doing a very good job, is she? You know what I mean? Like, because I never. Yeah. Well, yeah. Look, what? I mean, that's just how it is, isn't it? You know, he's always on toilet, not doing a job, not achieving, and it's a bit worrying, really. That these are the people. This is the future, isn't it?
Look, Daz, I think we're gonna find out a lot over the next couple of days on Charles Gorman's job search. Appreciate the call, though. Daz checking in from the UK, part of Gangrene UK. A couple of super chats I want to hit on, then we'll get back to your calls to wrap up the show. Bang Mateo says Mo Lewis should be in the Ring of Honor. You can make a very strong case for it, Bang. I actually don't disagree with you for once. Go look at Mo Lewis's numbers, where they rank in Jet history, how long he played for the team. You can make a very strong case for it. Nick Shine with the question everyone is thinking. What happens first? Charles gets a job or loses his virginity? Look, I think Charles is going to crush his tryout on the 17th and get a job. So, unless there's a lovely lady that shows up at his doorstep between now and June 17th, a.k.a. next week, I'm banking on the job. Now, with that said, Nick, this is for you.
Calm your freaky down.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, joining us right now on the Gusbuster Umbrella Hotline is the champ himself.
The only thing better than Alden shoes is Joey D, 'cause he totally rules. Jake, my brother, I'm high as a kite. I love everybody. Damn, this show is crazy.
Jake, my brother.
Mr. Bonesy, how are you, sir?
I am good, man. Hanging in. Just, getting through these months of nothing to talk about. Just trying to find shit to amuse ourselves, right?
This is still easy because we got mini camp today and tomorrow. Once we get past this week, then it's
It's gonna be bad. Yeah. I just want to give a couple points on things everyone's been talking about. First, with Patriots with 6 rings. 2 things. First, we don't want to have him become a Jets fan. We don't need any more new fake fans who just really want to be part of our awesome Asmaniac Jets community and then pretend they like a team just to hang out with us. Let him. He's not a Patriots fan that's coming on and really like talking shit constantly and, telling us we suck and rubbing it in that he has 6 rings. He's wearing the jersey, whatever. He's from Canada, so they don't have a football team. When I was 8, 9, and 10, if it wasn't for Papa Bonesy, I probably would have been a Cowboys fan or a Bills fan or one of the teams that were really good and making the Super Bowl all the time when I was young. So that shit does happen. I got a lot of fans that did that when they were younger, stuck with their fake childhood team that they just were bandwagoning on. So I'd rather 6 rings be himself as a Patriots fan than us like, oh yeah, be a Jets fan and be a fake one just to hang out with us. Like, no, I'm not interested. Let's let him just have to take the bullets when Briga wants to give him and Daz. Let him just have to deal with that shit because
Briga's very upset. If 6 rings ever showed up to an event that Briga was at, I don't know if that's going to go too well.
Yeah. 6 rings doesn't strike me as the anger guy, but and then on the other side with the whole Sauce Garrett, who to pay first, I'm actually with Neil, man. I'd rather pay Sauce more and make him the highest paid cornerback in the league. Once he proves that he can be all pro in a new scheme, once he proves that he can actually travel and shadow a wide receiver and still be as effective. Because don't forget, Saleh's scheme for cornerbacks was like, you don't move, you play soft zone. It was just like very, I don't know. I just feel like I want to see Sauce ball out. And if he does, that's amazing for us as a team. That means we were playing well. And what's going to be the discount? If we were to pay Sauce now, what are we giving him? Like, we got to give him a little more than Stingley, right? So how many big-time corners are going to get paid more than Stingley between now and next year? I'd be willing to give Sauce the extra $5 million a year because that's probably the most it'll go up for the best next corner to get paid, and just deal with it then. Like, let him earn them stripes in the new coaching staff, That's kind of my Garrett. I'm ready. Garrett is to me I know it's a little difficult, more of a contract because where does he rank, but from a talent perspective and from a position perspective, I'd rather dip my money in the wide receiver and just always know we got a wide receiver 1 and we're just looking for, fill out the rest of the room. That's my take on the contract situations. And my last thing I'll really talk about is I was going back and forth with Indy earlier in chat about Fields. And my hate for Fields comes from 3 of my good buddies who I play basketball with are huge Chicago Bears fans. They're actually real fans. 2 of them moved here from Chicago and been here a couple of years. I've been playing with them for years now. And when we drafted Zach and they drafted Fields, and the Fields Wilson debates and me, them shitting on us when Zach would play bad and me shitting on them when Fields would suck. I just have always hated Fields because of that reason. Like, I just was constantly just preaching all his suckiness at all his games where he sucked. So I kind of been paying attention to Fields for a while because I was constantly every Thursday night arguing with my buddies about Fields and, them saying, oh, well, Fields sucks, but he's better than Zach and just shit like that. So I'm just not a Fields guy. And now that he's our quarterback, obviously I'm an optimistic fan. I could blind faith love people like I did with Zach Wilson and others. But like when Rodgers came in, it's like, yo, man, I could take a dream of a 40-year-old Hall of Famer who could maybe find some magic and lead us on a championship run more than I could sink my teeth into Justin Fields, who's the journeyman quarterback himself, finding himself in year 6 to be able to go through his progression. So,
well, it's been done recently with Rodgers, right? They were trying to copy what Brady did in Tampa. Stafford, he was a lot younger, but Stafford gets traded, wins the Super Bowl right away in the right environment after never winning in Detroit. It ultimately fell apart, but I'll never say it was the wrong decision to go after Rodgers. It was the only logical move a team that we all thought was close could have done.
yeah, and look at other quarterbacks who maybe didn't make it and win the championship, but Brett Favre went to the Vikings after us, and they went to the NFC Championship, and Favre actually lost them the game with a terrible interception in the red zone in the playoffs. So, and then you look at, like, I know Joe Montana, and when he went to Kansas City, they didn't win it, but you know, there's a lot of examples where an older quarterback, you find some magic left in the tank in a late, you know, his later years. And like, how if I had to bet, Rodgers is probably going to play well on the Steelers. He's going to have a run game, and he needs a run game to be effective. So, and I'm also with Ricky. I'm not scared of Alan Lazard, but why would we give Rodgers one of his guys that makes him feel comfortable? You know, Lazard was the leading touchdowns wide receiver in the NFL last year through 4 games, and it was because, you know, that shit can happen. I mean, I do not want to give them Lazard at the beginning. That's going to be where Rodgers is most vulnerable. And I forget what caller mentioned it yesterday, but someone was talking about how, like, getting on the same page and Rodgers, that's very important to Rodgers. Like, that's why him and Garrett were like, because, you know, Garrett was just sick of all the, you know, nuances and things you needed to do with Rodgers and how much like things you have to read after the snap, you know. So I still don't think DK Metcalf and Rodgers, to me, that wasn't like a good pairing, but he is DK Metcalf can run deep and he is talented. He's a big guy, so we'll see what happens with that. But
how do you feel about Indy Jets?
Indy Jets is a cool guy.
Ladies and gentlemen, sports fans of all ages, welcome to the event of the year, the moment you've all been waiting for. This is the ASMANIAC Rumble.
Hey.
Bozy, my buddy. Hey, I got a quick question for you. You don't like Fields. I just want to get it straight here. You don't like Fields by the way he played in Chicago based off of the way he played, right?
Well, the way he played, and more or less when Chicago is actually in some games that were low scoring, but they were games where they had a chance to win, and Fields would have to go either in 2-minute situations or actually just play quarterback and not be able to run. He's just not very good at going through his progressions in like big moments.
Okay. I'm going to take your words right there. And yet he didn't have a good offensive line. He didn't have a running back, and he had just as bad of coaching as we had last year. Now, you're not giving any of that responsibility to Rodgers because it's all, you know, he didn't play very good last year, as well as Fields didn't play very well in Chicago, but Fields gets all the blame, but the coaching gets the blame in New York. Now, which is it? Either the coaching is really bad or the quarterback is really bad.
2 things I'll say is, as bad as Rodgers played, right, as a Jets fan, it was almost the best quarterback season we've ever seen. And it was terrible, right? But from a number standpoint, it still was fun to see someone throw touchdowns into the end zone. And you know as well as I do, if our kicker, Zerline Greg the Leg, wasn't as terrible as he was at the beginning of the season, Saleh wouldn't have lost his job, and then the defense wouldn't have collapsed as bad as they did, that they had to blow 3 to 4 games where Rodgers couldn't even get the ball back. And if
you're making excuses for Rodgers. You're making excuses for Rodgers, but you won't make the same.
I mean, he's going to be a top 5
Hall
of Fame gold
He didn't play like a Hall of Famer last year. He just played as a Jets Hall of Famer because our quarterbacks have been so bad. Okay, but you say he didn't play as a Hall of Famer last year, so it's not his fault. But Justin Fields, who was on just as bad of a team in Chicago, it must be Justin Fields' fault. So we can't have both. It's either Justin Fields
Hey
is
guys.
bad, or and Aaron Rodgers was bad, or they were both in bad situations.
Well, I'll definitely say I'll agree with you. Fields was definitely in a bad situation, right? They were a shitty team, shitty coaching in Chicago, definitely. But
okay, so so I look at let's go back to the last time Fields had a good offensive line and a good team around him, which he had to go back to college. You got to go back to that 2019 season.
Steelers had a pretty good offensive line. What were they? Top 10 in offensive running last year? I mean, and that's with Russell
and he was 4-2. He was 4-2, and should have been 5-1, except if the defense wouldn't. And they benched him. So when you go back to he had Justin Fields. There's 4 Ohio State players on this New York Jets team right now that was on that 2019 team. Right?
Yep.
Justin Fields only threw for a little over 3,000 yards that year, but 41 touchdowns. That's what a good running game will do for Justin Fields, which is what Brees Hall.
I agree with you with that. I agree with you with that.
I don't expect him to throw for 4,000 or 5,000 yards. But he could easily.
Indy, if our defense and run game isn't like top notch, then Fields can't carry us. So we need a defensive scheme and a defensive run game. I mean, a run game and a defensive scheme to really block, and health, which is another thing with Fields. He's never finished the season. So if Fields is healthy for all 17 games, that boy is going to run. I mean, he can
healthy
run
behind a good offensive line, which the Jets have this year. We should have a good offensive line, which is probably the best offensive line he's had since he's been in the NFL, right?
Agreed.
I mean,
right. He's to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I love it. That's what our country's built on right there. Healthy debate. Great job by Bonesy and Indy. All right. I think Mikey's mic might be working, so we'll squeeze in a Mikey Midnight call before we wrap up show number 1 today. Antoine Staley, who is at Jets minicamp right now, Jets reporter for the Daily News, will join us at 4:30 Eastern this afternoon. Hello, Mikey. Are you there?
Hey, you hear me, Jake?
Yes. Hey, Mikey.
Hey, Jake, I got my Knicks hat.
Yeah, baby.
Yeah, I think who should get as a coach?
Who?
Reggie Miller. Reggie.
What?
Reggie.
You want to hire
Reggie
the Knicks
Miller.
arch nemesis?
The house. Yeah.
He's a pacer,
Why
though.
not?
I don't want him. He's never been a coach before.
Well, who cares?
I do.
Yeah, the other people. I think Reggie Miller would kick butt. He would beat everybody on that team up.
Reggie Miller?
Yeah, that would be a good coach.
He's a pacer. He's a broadcaster.
Well, you could call him up. No one wants to play with the Knicks anyway. So what's
rejected? Sorry.
Mikey, put down the bottle, man. Jeez. Reggie Miller. What are we doing? And he's never been a head coach before, and he's the Knicks' biggest rival. What are we talking about? But I'm glad we heard you, Mikey. Just got to put down the bottle today. Ladies and gentlemen, let's squeeze in one final call, shall we? It's time to say hello to this guy. Beast, how's the nap?
No, just on the telephone, no. That can wait. That phone call can wait. I know who we want for our next coach. It's definitely not going to be no Reggie Miller. You can forget that bullshit. I know who I want. I know exactly who I want. My 3 candidates. I know who I want.
Hey, Beast,
John
put the light
Starks.
on. Put the light on and show everyone your shirt. Yeah.
Champions. I know who my 3 contenders are going to be for the Knicks for coaching. It's either going to come down to Patrick Ewing, John Starks, or Charles Oakley.
How about instead of Charles Oakley, the Knicks hire a different Charles? Charles.
Which different Charles are you referring to?
Charles Gorman.
Bobby and Charles are squeezing their knockers. Bobby and Charles are squeezing their knockers, taking their shirts off. Taking their shirts off. Taking their shirts off. Taking their shirts off. Bobby and Charles are damn sexy. Damn sexy. Let's party. Let's party. Let's party. Let's Bobby and Charles are hot and sweaty. Hot and sweaty. Let's party. Let's party. Let's party.
Yeah, baby, that's the show. Join the Patreon, get in there, bonus shows, name of the intro, discounts at exclusive events, 20% off all merch store items, and a whole lot more. I want to thank everyone who tuned in. Thank you to Richie from Jets Media, who started the show off with a bang this morning. Again, my name is Jake Asman. Jets are on the field right now at mandatory minicamp. Antoine Staley from the Daily News is going to join us this afternoon, and we will break down what he saw on the field. Until then, I'll talk to you guys soon. Go Jets, everybody. Charles Gorman is up next. Hello, Charles.
Hey, Jake, how's it going?
What's up, Charles? A little rude to be eating on the air, Charles. Charles. What are you eating, Charles? What are we munching on today? Can you hear me? Are you deaf? Charles, you're on the air. Bro, you're on the air. We are doing a national show. Millions are tuned in, Charles. Hello? Hey, Charles, wake up. Charles. Dude. Listen, I'm just going to let you chill, all right? Your show now, Charles. Go ahead. Yep. No. I'm Charles Gorman, everybody. No. I'm just eating. I'm just chewing. Yep. Okay. Should we move on or just let Charles on the screen just eat here? Yes, go. You're on the air. Yes. What? Oh my God. Stop eating. Oh my God. What are you doing? Goodbye. I can't.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks.
We'll see you later, Charles. Can't stand watching people eat. No. The only thing that can make this night better is some Charles Gorman Mother's Chicken Soup. Hello, Charles.
Hey, Charles, I need some more of that chicken soup.
It's Lenten season for us Christians/Catholics, so.
I need some of it, Charles.
And I'm sorry I didn't have any chicken soup today.
You sitting up there eating enchiladas.
I had a calzone for dinner.
I need it, Charles.
It was delicious.
Where is the recipes, Charles?
Anyways,
I need some of your mama's chicken soup.
I love to eat, so what can I say?
Yes.
I love this show, man. We got the best callers.